Hello.
Well, hello there.
How's it going?
It's going really well. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you great.
Okay, awesome.
I just sent us live. I realize I thought I was like, I know I got to do the link, right? So how do I do the link? But there are already 4 people in here. So
Hey, guys.
yeah, how about that?
Another spot.
I don't want the live streaming preview. I want to copy the link to send to people. How do I do that? There we go. Okay. I already sent the link out earlier, so why do I need to send it out again, Joel? Who else was I going to send it to, Ashley? I think that's it.
The people.
The people. All the people need to know about it.
The people need to be informed. My God.
I need to put my computer onto focus mode like I'm at work, so I don't have to.
Looks like it's fucking smoky in here. It's not. It's some weird lighting shit happening. I don't know. It's fine.
I wish it was smoky in here. I'll be honest with you. All right, let's go look at the live stream chat.
Because, hell yes, because
good for you. Listen, I'm in a hotel room and I don't have any alcohol, or I would probably be drinking too. Honestly,
no.
It's fine. I've got gummies and a vape, so I'm okay. Happy Sunday morning from the other side of the world, Jess from Tasmania.
Jess, holy shit! I'm so excited you're here.
Hi, Jess. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm
like, tell me everything.
Sunday morning. So let me take a guess. All right, in Tasmania. So Tasmania is Australia, right? It's an island off of Australia.
Yeah.
Okay, so
funny.
I mentioned Tasmanian tigers the other day. Okay, you've already answered. I'm trying not to look at the answer in the chat. Let's see. I'm going to say that it's
southeast corner, the southeast side.
Yeah. So it's 7:00 here. It's 8:00 Eastern. I mean, it's 8:00 Central. It's 9:00 Eastern. I'm going to say it's 9 a.m. in Tasmania. Where I was close. It's 11 a.m. It's almost 11 a.m.
All right, not too shabby, Joel. Not too shabby.
I did some quick math. This is where all my widgets of time zones come in handy on my computer,
right,
folks. They come in so handy that my the person I'm contracted to this gig for here, Mike McAllen, was walking by my computer earlier today and commented on my clock widget and was like, "Hey, what is that? Oh my goodness! Did you lose me for a second there?
No,
I heard you say something.
I committed some fuckery, and I was just making sure that I was. Yeah, I had just done some fuckery, but it's fine. I was listening.
Okay, good.
I was listening while I was committing mild fuckery.
He walked by and he was all like, "How do you get widgets on your desktop? I need a clock widget." I think everybody needs a time zone widget on their desktop, honestly.
It's handy.
Okay, I want to start. Well, I guess we shouldn't get into main topics here.
It's not even 8 yet.
It's not quite time yet.
It's not even 8.
Yes, we should wait
early
until all of the folks are about. Good call. Thanks everybody for joining us, by the way. We appreciate y'all. Ashley, have you booked your hotel room yet?
I swear to Jesus, I'm doing it tomorrow. I swear. I know I'm not religious, so that doesn't mean anything, but I really am. I really, really am doing it tomorrow. I'm doing it tomorrow. Doing it live. Yes.
Don't do your reservations live. If you're watching this, by the way, and you want to be in New Orleans with us on November 1st, although I will say, I don't know about you, Ashley, I took a deep sigh of relief the other day when Christopher Rice and Son announced that they're going to be recording the event. It's not going to be live streamed, he said, but the same company that is working on the documentary portions of the performance on November 1st will be recording the whole event on November 1st.
I'm so glad it's going to be available for everybody to get to see
and available for free too, which is like he absolutely could have just cashed in on that
100%
and sold it or rented it or whatever, right?
But to do it this way is also very Anne, like she was always so accessible to us. She made herself so available. I like that he's kind of honoring that.
I think about and we've talked about it a little bit on the show before, her fight with Al Copeland, and how fitting it would be, I hope, that her celebration of life is a larger event than Al Copeland's funeral. I don't know if you know this, if you're watching this and you're not from New Orleans or from Louisiana, but when Al Copeland, who's the guy behind Popeyes, right?
Yeah.
He's like the guy that invented the Copeland's restaurant and Popeyes and made $1 billion and was a local celebrity in New Orleans.
The biscuits are the same everywhere, just so you know. A biscuit at Popeyes is a biscuit at Copeland's.
They're so good. Why would you change them? They're so good. I don't like chicken. I occasionally go. I've got to be careful with my microphone. It flipped over, and I might have sounded like weird that whole time. I occasionally go to Popeyes and just get a dozen biscuits, which is some ungodly amount of money now to buy a dozen biscuits from Popeyes. But sometimes it's a decadent treat to like bring home a dozen biscuits, and everybody in the family be like, "You can have 2 each, folks. Like just eat a biscuit or 2."
Don't be fucking shy. Get your biscuit on.
They're so good.
Yeah, my friend Rodney, every time we have like a big friend get together where we're potlucking, Rodney always brings fucking Popeyes biscuits. It's the best. Like, fucking Rodney's here. Get a biscuit.
This is indicative of Ashley and I's ability to stay on task. The reason I brought up the fucking biscuits at all is because I was talking about Al Copeland's funeral. So Al Copeland's funeral was like a big deal, but in particular at the cemetery where they interred him, he parked like a lot of vehicles at the gates for like a week or something around his death. Like there was a monster truck that belonged to him, but then like several like a Rolls Royce or something, and I think there was like a yacht or like a
showing
speedboat.
off his shit. Like,
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Like,
but also it was like,
here's my death parade with my belongings.
Hey, all y'all normal people that have always wondered what it's like to be Al Copeland, like I'm gone, but y'all come look at some of my shit and see how cool all this stuff was. Anyway, I remember that being a big deal. I would love for the crowd at her celebration of life to be, truly momentous. It would really just tickle me pink if like the news had to comment on it. Normal people talked about it.
Yes.
David Bowie wasn't necessarily tied to New Orleans in any way, but I do remember when David Bowie passed away, there was this huge second line in his honor in New Orleans through the French Quarter. And there was it was really, really cool to see the videos that day. So anyway,
one of the most hilarious thing has been happening in New Orleans this past week. It's fucking delightful. So this guy who has an apartment in the French Quarter, was bitching because a local bar right near his apartment has a bubble machine that's going all the time, and the bubbles are fucking with his Porsche. So every motherfucker in New Orleans.
He said, wait, Ashley. The quote was his complaint to he first of all called the police on them like many times.
Yes.
But what he wrote down to complain officially was that it fucked up the paint on his Porsche. And it sometimes drifted into his cocktails as he sat on his balcony in the French Quarter. Friend.
Why are you driving that car in the French? You do not give a fuck about that car if you're driving it in the French Quarter. That is the worst place in the world to drive a nice car.
Also, like, how about just be glad you have a balcony to drink cocktails on in the French Quarter?
I mean,
and remember you are one of the elite.
Look,
and like
the rich are never going to be grateful, Joel. They're never going to be grateful. They're never going to be grateful. Meanwhile, every motherfucker in the town shows up with their fucking bubble machines and their bubble guns and their bubbles with their kids. They brought their kids out to blow fucking bubbles. It's the whole street, the entire block is fucking filled with bubbles. It's absolutely
lovely, magical.
It's so New Orleans. Like, that's so like weird in this subversive way. Like, it's so funny. I love it so much.
I was reminded recently because I edited an episode of Beyond Bourbon Street, one of the shows that I work for. They had
listening to that.
They had the creator of Flirty Girl on, and I had forgotten this. I was living in New Orleans at the time, but she came out like her launch was a Houdat shirt right around the Super Bowl. Like, she was making some things before that, I think, but it had not hit. She made a Houdat shirt and was selling a few, but then the NFL pitched a hissy fit and tried to cease and desist her because they said they owned the name, or they owned the words
This
Who Dat.
was so funny.
And like New Orleans was like, actually, we'll never buy an NFL product again. Fuck you forever.
Yeah.
Lined up out the door of her. She was selling the shit out of her house at the time.
Yeah.
She had like the front room of her house was her storefront. And then she and her kids lived in the back of this shotgun house on Oak Street. And, yeah, she's just sold the shit out of them. The NFL eventually backed down because of all the pressure.
Well,
but like, yeah, anyway, New Orleans knows how to strike.
Yeah, for real. It's so good. It's so, so good. I love it.
Jenny says, I'm so glad I get to be here. I was watching Interview with the Vampire behind the scenes just before this.
That's time
Thank you,
well
Jenny,
spent.
for hanging out with us. All right, we're after the hour now, so I guess we should actually start. The Articulate Coven is the original, unofficial podcast and fan community for Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire and Anne Rice's Immortal universe from AMC and AMC Plus. Welcome to the Articulate Coven. We are your hosts. I am Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven, and we're 100!
We're 100! It's crazy!
It only took us 8 years, Ashley.
It only took us 8 years.
When you put it in that context, it doesn't sound nearly as impressive.
It's not as impressive. However, it is impressive that we stayed true and that we pushed through during those dark days when our show was bouncing the fuck around from network to network to network and we didn't know what was going on. We still showed up. We didn't give up.
I think about it all the time that there's an episode of us opining for like a long time, like an hour and a half, about how great this show is going to be on Hulu.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, we were so pumped. We were like, oh yeah. I mean, we were right. It would have been great.
It would have been. I think we've talked about this a little bit in the past. There are aspects of that timeline that I am a little sad that we didn't get.
Yeah.
I do think there's something to be said about, well, for instance, that timeline was going to start at the Vampire Lestat, which would have tickled me pink, right? Like Wolf Killer was the name of the first script, or at least the one that they had sold. That might have been workshopped and changed a little bit. But I do think I think it would have been a more Lestat-centric series. Here's what we would have missed for sure. Jacob.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have gotten Jacob as Louis.
100%
There's no way that would have happened on the Hulu. Not that Hulu was like opposed to a color change or a race shift, but I just don't think that was not in the cards at all for them.
No, I don't
And I think that Jacob was like an early part of the AMC project.
Yeah, I think that adaptation, if had it happened at Hulu, it would have been a much truer to the on paper, like off the book adaptation. It would be much more like that. And I think that that's something that we missed because of the shifts and the changes, but I'm not sad about it.
Yeah, and I think Interview with the Vampire, the TV series, is, I think, completely impacted by the pandemic because of when it launched, right? And I think the writing changed because of that. I think the filming changed because, well, we know they split season 1 because of it, largely. Like, it was going to be so expensive to try to film the second half of the book that they made it into 2 seasons. So, like, yeah, what we have, I'm incredibly happy with, and I don't think that the other timeline was a better one, but it is interesting to think about how we got here. Hi, Patrick says, howdy all. Hello, Patrick. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Tania says, hi all. Sorry I'm late. Can't find my headphones. It is a real problem. Listen, I was sitting here. Here's a little peek behind the curtain. I told you guys last week I was going to change the theme music. Part of me really wanted to have the theme music picked out already and to play it for you all sometime during the live stream. Maybe even like before the live stream actually started, is like, you guys missed the theme song. You'll have to wait.
Here's the fresh new one.
I've been busy all week, and I spent the last 30 minutes before this live stream scrolling through music choices and trying to look, and I didn't want to rush it, so I didn't choose it. So don't feel bad, Tania. Everybody's got shit on their minds.
Man.
Hi, Mandy.
Hey,
hello,
Mandy.
friends. Man, I started watching a YouTube channel that focuses on Nintendo news, Nintendo Switch news, I guess, because I'm super excited about my Switch 2 coming in like a week. And it's a British guy who is the main host of the channel, and he introduces every show, or whenever he's the host of the segment, he always goes, "Hello, you beautiful people."
Oh.
And I love it. I like that a whole lot. So hello, you beautiful people. Let's see. I'm here to talk about Mayfair Witches and
Oh,
whether or
God.
not we are finally getting flying brooms in season 3.
Rowan's gonna fly the brooms with her hand magic. Just for Joel. Ah.
Man, I will say this. Having recently rewatched The Witch again from Robert Eggers, I am not as anti-flying broom as I once would have been. I think that there's a whole way to do that, and to do like the historical context of, I don't know, self-pleasure or something. Man, don't get me started on Mayfair, because I don't want to be a bummer tonight. But seriously, that is a perfect example. Like, there's so much of the Mayfair books, in particular that first one, that like plays on that theme of both the pleasure and the shame of self-pleasure, right? Of masturbation in particular, right? There's all those Lasher demon lover thing. That whole storyline is about like, ooh, how terrible it is a woman might enjoy sex even by herself.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. And we basically didn't get any of it. We got like the one scene where we effectively had like a ghost threesome with Rowan and her mother in season 1 or whatever. Like, I don't know, man. Anyway, missed opportunities. Missed opportunities.
So many.
Mandy says, Jacob has become so inseparable from this adventure, I wouldn't want to imagine it without him. I agree. Like,
he's fantastic.
It's one of the reasons why. Go ahead.
No, I was just because someone posted a hottie picture of him in the group the other day, and he has on, someone was like, oh my God, he has on this fang ring. It's really cool. Bailey designed those and she sells those. So the gal that played Bailey Bass, the gal that played Claudia the first season.
Claudia originally, yeah.
She actually designed those rings, and I'm pretty sure she's still selling them in her jewelry line. She designed a few a few interviews of vampire sort of things at that time.
I didn't realize that. I do, now that you mention it, I do remember that she made them. I didn't know that she was ever selling them, but that's cool.
Yeah.
You should totally go get one, honestly. It would make a excellent addition to your wardrobe for the November 1st celebration of life. Which, speaking of, someone in our group, I think it was Tommy Sweeney, mentioned the other day, hey, I've got plans to come down on the 1st. That's when I'm driving in. Christopher, though, in his email said something about the afternoon of the 1st. Do we really think it's going to be afternoon?
Yeah.
Because that means I got to start driving at like 4 a.m. or something like that.
I'd say it's probably going to be like
really
2.
Do. Yeah, I think it's going to be afternoon. I think it's going to be afternoon.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of reasons for that. But like, first of all, it's not going to be morning time because it will be the night after the ball, right?
Yeah.
The ball also, is on the 31st?
Yeah, it's the night after Halloween. Like, people are going to be out fucking raging.
This crowd especially is probably going to be out doing things that will not allow them to be up early in the morning.
Get into witchy shit, y'all. It's Halloween.
So anyway, my guess is though that it won't be nighttime either. And I don't even know exactly why I feel that way, but I don't think this is a nighttime event.
Well, there's just something about a memorial that feels like a daytime thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it does. But also I think it will be fitting to walk out of there, inspired and, warmed by her memory and our love for each other and for these worlds that she created, and then go fuck around in New Orleans that night. Like, yeah, anyway. So I've sort of got my fingers crossed for that, because I would love for our live recording to be after
that night, that evening.
Yeah, after we go to the event. That would really tickle me pink. Even if we are, since people are going to be able to watch this elsewhere, I guess we probably will try not to like do major spoilers, or at least like acknowledge it before we get into it. But Yeah, that's my hope, honestly, is that it's in the afternoon. So if you're making travel plans, go ahead and make them for earlier in the day, I would suggest.
Because that's
Okay.
probably legit.
First thing I want, let's see, where do we want to start here? I want to just do.
Patrick was asking, I didn't even know they still did the balls. Does anyone have any info or planning to go? It sold the fuck out so fast, Patrick. Like, I remembered the tickets were on sale probably like 8 hours after they went on sale, and it was completely sold out by then. But it's still the same group is still putting them on, I'm pretty sure. And
Yes.
I don't know any of the other deets though. I kind of wish I had planned better. But I haven't even booked my hotel room, so we know my shame. We know my shame. This is the shame of ADHD. Shame.
I gotta scroll back up in the text to do this, but there you go. Do it, Ashley.
Yeah, book your fucking hotel. Thank you, Nancy. You're right. Yes, ma'am.
Nancy paid for it, y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all, all on our own. By the way, we haven't done this on the show in quite a while. We have mentioned her before, and Nancy, I didn't expect you to be here. I thought she'd sent me. I've literally got your email pulled up because I think she's got an event. I don't know if she's going to be able to hang out for very long, but she said that she was worried that she wasn't going to be able to make the live stream. So she had specifically asked me to post a thing on the Patreon with like, hey, let us give feedback. So in case we can't make it, you can still do it. She couldn't post her comment because apparently it was too much text. So she sent me like a Word doc with her she's got 3 cover songs that we're going to get to in a little while. I suggested one of the things we should do tonight is do a discussion of like, what would the music be if the Vampire Lestat was a jukebox musical, so to speak, right? If Baz Luhrmann was doing this season.
Okay.
And so we were going to get all cover songs for Lestat, nothing original. What would those cover songs be? So we're going to talk about that eventually, and Nancy's got some stuff in there. But genuinely, y'all, you and I talked about it off air, and I was like, I think we should start a Patreon. It's one of those things, I don't think very many people will sign up right now. We're small, but our YouTube was like about to cross over to monetization. We had decided to go weekly. Season 2 of Interview had gone very, very well for us. Yeah. We were getting a lot of traction, and it was like, I think if we did this, people would support us. Yeah, it was a good time. But it's also like, and I mean, I said it a couple of weeks ago, like if we didn't have the commitment that we have from you all, it would be easy for us on a week-to-week basis to go, well, do we have to do it this week? But like, you guys show us on a regular basis that you really want to hear from us and you really want to talk about these things too, which makes us make it a priority. So thank you for that. And Nancy was like first in line. I had barely gotten the thing live and pushed it out to our Facebook group, and Nancy sends too much fucking money. I will just be honest with you, on a monthly. And I messaged her I was like, this is a mistake, right?
Can't
like you clicked the wrong button somewhere. She was like, no, I understand what it takes to build a community like you all have built and to do the content on a regular basis like you all do. And I want you guys to be supported as much as I can. So like, boom, right out of the gate. And it was such a like, I don't know. It was more than just the money. It was more than just the pat on the back. It was like a confirmation that we were headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
And because of that, no matter how slow the following uptick would have taken, Ashley and I were like, okay, we don't feel like fools because we did that thing.
Yeah, right.
As a matter of fact, though, there were a whole bunch of y'all that lined up behind Nancy.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, to the Queen of the Damned. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Love you, Nancy.
Yes, the Queen.
Okay, let's see. Living in Canada. This comes from Jenny. She's living in Canada, so I can't go. Jenny, I don't blame. Listen, if I was living in Canada, there is not enough money to get me into the state of Louisiana right now. I'm being very frank with you.
You may never get to leave.
I mean, genuinely, like this state specifically. And I had this conversation with someone. I've got a client in California. Well, I've got a couple of clients in California, but I was on a recording with one the other day, and we were waiting for the guest, and so we were making small talk. And they were like, so you're from Denver, right? Because I was here in this hotel room when I was recording. They were like, you're from Denver, right? You live there now? And I'm like, no, I've never lived in Denver. This is only the second time I've ever been to Denver. I live in Louisiana. I was born and raised in Louisiana. And they're like, why don't you why don't you have an accent? And I said, well, I started doing theater when I was 12.
Right.
And so I started sounding like I'm from Southern Ohio by the time I was about 15 or 16, which is what
You
they
gotta
told
phase
back
it
then.
out.
That's what they told us to aim for.
Phase
They
it
were like,
out.
you're from Columbus, okay? You're
Right.
from Columbus, Ohio.
Somewhere innocuous. It isn't going to offend anyone.
Yeah, and it fits in everywhere. What is interesting is I do let my Southern accent back in a little bit sometimes for charismatic purposes. My wife tells me all the time I can be direct and sort of asshole-ish. If you do that with a Southern accent, it comes off as charming and charismatic, though. So
Yes.
it's like...
It's a trick. It's a trick.
Mandy says, we appreciate you too, Queen Nancy. Hey, there you go. One more. Tania says, all hail Queen Nancy.
Queen Nancy. Cheers.
We love you, genuinely. Yeah, Jenny says definitely can't travel to the U.S. for more than one reason. I mean, listen, and that's something. This is our little political corner before we move on to brighter pastures. Right. But y'all, it's bad out there, and it's not. It's easy to put this all on one person or a couple of people, right? And say, well, as soon as we get rid of Trump, everything will be better. Y'all, we got rid of Trump once, and we had a very stable, competent presidency in President Biden. Although, yes, I've heard all about the Jake Tapper book. My point is this, though. 4 years of oppositional governance was not enough to fix the problems, right? We went right and further down the slide than we were before. So it's a whole system. They've been working on these plans for 40 years. Like genuinely, this is stuff that started when Reagan broke the balance of the media, among other things. And it's going to be a long game to fix it, is my point. So like, don't get yourself hyped up for one victory and then we're done. Everything's back to normal. It's not going to be like that. I just finished. I know you've been crowing about it, but I literally finished earlier today Andor season 2. Man, I've got like 2 strands of hair that are doing a crazy thing here in my eyes. I'm sorry, guys. I finished season 2 of Andor.
Y'all,
and
I can't recommend it enough.
It's so good. But there's a line in season 2, and I'm not going to tell you who it comes from or where, but at one point someone says, we're playing to win, which means we'll lose and we'll lose and we'll lose and we'll lose until we're ready.
Yep.
And like, that's fucking depressing on a Saturday afternoon, but like, we've all got to pull up our big boy and girl panties and like do the work, and doing the work is going to be the work for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Period. And that's not just an American thing. That's if you're in Canada, that's if you're in Poland. That's if, I mean, like literally I was thinking about Poland because they just fought off a far right movement with what? A coalition government. I posted today about like fascism isn't beaten by everybody holding hands. It's beaten by coalitions. Yeah. You have to make allies with people that might not be your friends.
Right.
We're not going to agree on everything, but we can agree that we don't want fascism, that we're trying to get to the same democracy.
End goal, you know? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
We got to rebuild society, and it's going to take lots of people, even some people that you don't agree with on everything.
Yeah,
so
sometimes you got to hold your nose and fucking do the thing. It's just,
Jenny says it's very expensive too.
Travel's fucking hilariously expensive. And that is a very expensive weekend in New Orleans on a normal year. I was trying to book I was thinking about going to New Orleans last year during Halloween, and I was looking at hotel rooms and they were insanely expensive. And I was like, this is not normal. And then I was like, oh, it is Halloween weekend. Shit, that's probably it. No, it was fucking Taylor Swift was there. I was like, oh shit, that's why it's $500 a night.
I forgot she was there at Halloween last year.
Yeah, she was there last year during Halloween. So I was like, that is a terrible time to go to New Orleans. I'm not going to do that. Those people are going to be having so much fun, though. My God, the Swifties, I'm sure, had a blast.
Everybody that I know in New Orleans said that it was genuinely an amazing weekend, and that in fact, I've heard several people say that the effect on the city was much greater from the Taylor Swift weekend than it was from the Super Bowl.
Nice.
That the Super Bowl is such a corporate event, and that it was like lots of places got rented out for the night, right?
Right.
Or for a couple of nights, but like local and in so many cases, it's like the venue got rented out, but then like a catering crew got brought in or whatever, right? So it's not even locals that are actually doing the service. And not that New Orleans didn't make money, they did, obviously. And there's a whole lot of like street projects that got done that were needing to get done because of the Super Bowl. So it's great. But
that's also,
I think actually T-Swizzle did better than the NFL also, for the city.
When you're planning a Super Bowl, you know years in advance you got it, or you know well in advance that it's going to be in your city at that time. So you do spend so much time prepping for it. People are planning for a certain amount of money, you know, it's not like it's just like, holy shit. I mean, I knew that we were going to have a big weekend with Taylor Swift in town, but this was fucking bananas, you know?
It's ludicrous.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, not ludicrous, Taylor Swift, but
the way she, two very different fan bases. The way her just swinging through town can stimulate an economy is fucking nuts. Like, that's bananas. Man,
I think about all of her drivers like buying homes because she gave them $100,000 bonus and they were able to put a down payment on something, you know? Jess from Tasmania says, "You're all welcome to join me on my island paradise."
God, I would love to. But
listen.
You've got some.
You don't have to twist my arm to get me to move to Australia.
There's a lot of really big things that want to kill you there.
Okay, that's fair. It is a pretty dangerous island.
Like
I'm imagining Tasmania is not safer in that way.
Spiders. Some of those spiders. I've seen the spiders you have down there.
I think, and correct me on this if I'm wrong, I think it's pretty difficult, though, to immigrate to either Australia or Canada, for that matter.
I know
it's difficult to immigrate
right now
to Canada.
No.
Yeah, well, you say that. There actually are a few countries that are literally already opening up
I have a friend
for
who's
LGBTQ refugees.
Yeah. I have a friend who, there's certain fields that New Zealand is opening up their doors to, you know, like I got a girlfriend that's about to relocate to New Zealand. Yeah. Fucking Kelly, the spiders. I'm right with you. That is not. No.
Kelly says FML. They do have big ass spiders in Australia. That's true. Those fucking kangaroos are yoked too, man, and mean.
Man, I love a kangaroo fight. Like, somebody getting into a fight with a kangaroo, fucking kangaroos fighting each other. I love Australia. What a fucking cool place. Really good serial killers down there too. Fucking really Ivan Milat was a real piece of shit.
Stop. Really effective serial killers down there.
Sorry.
Really interesting serial killers.
Really fascinating.
Very efficient.
Psychologically interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Nature versus nurture on a real level there. In the Milat family in particular.
Let's do a little bit of feedback on Nosferatu. Our last episode, Nosferatu, Nosferatu 1, Nosferatu.
So terrible. Terrible puns, Joel. Terrible puns. I love that you're here for the dad jokes, though. It's so important.
Hey, listen, I've got 4. I earned my...
Yeah, you did. You fucking get your jokes, buddy.
Zach Brahani says, "The rats bothered you? In that case, let me tell you guys about a little horror film called Terrifier 3.
Yeah, I've seen it. Been there. Done that already.
So Terrifier is those are the clown movies, right?
Mm-hmm. It's that, yeah.
Okay.
And they are so violent. They're like so violent and gory. It's like slapstick violence almost.
Yeah,
like
it's over the top to a level.
I mean, for me, it is. Like, I do a lot of uncomfortable laughing throughout it, but I just did say really good serial killers. So look,
good serial killers.
I don't know if I'm to be trusted on this point.
I will tell you right now, I will never see any of the Terrifier films.
That's not up your alley, buddy.
No. The gore porn and I understand, like, that series in particular is not I wouldn't necessarily describe that as gore porn from the way that it's been described to me. It's doing a different thing, which is like, it's artistic, it has value, I'm certain. It's just not my speed. It's like,
no, I don't know about value. It's worthy of a watch. It has worth. Value makes it seem like something good for humanity, and it does not have value.
Not like those really good serial killers.
Not like the
really good serial killers, probably the name of this episode now that I think about it. Okay, my very favorite. This comes from V1337. Did you make a leet joke, V? My very favorite thing about Nosferatu 2024 is that concept of devourance that you all highlighted. It distills vampirism right down to the almost cosmic horror of an appetite. Orlok even says, "I am an appetite" at one point. That's the core of it. Whether the hunger is for sex, companionship, knowledge, understanding, or even the spread of plague, it is non-discriminatory and simply finds ways to manifest itself. Love that Ellen echoes this with her final words being more, which I had not considered. How fucking fitting, right?
Yeah.
That eternal hunger fits right in with the VC as well, as you all pointed out. V says, I'm also probably cheating by recommending more vamp movies here, but Renfield, yes, you gotta be a patron to suggest movies, but here, I'll tell your suggestion anyway. They suggest Renfield. Nicholas Hoult plays Renfield in that one, by the way. That's a Nick Cage as Dracula, I think.
That's right. I forgot about that. I haven't watched it yet because I
haven't either.
I wasn't sure. Like, I gotta be in the right mood for Nicholas Cage sometimes.
Nick Cage is like such a thing. It's so strange. His entire career is so strange because he is genuinely, I think he is one of the most talented actors of his generation. Like, he's just got an unbelievable ability to embody a character and to transfer emotion through film, right?
Yeah. He makes wildly insane choices as an
he'll
actor.
Just shoot any it feels like we could call Nick Cage and be like, hey, you want to do this thing? And he'd be like, I'll be there Thursday.
You want to do this thing in the woods in Arkansas? And he'd be like, yeah, bad.
There's no pay.
I'm fine.
Maybe we won't actually put it out. Maybe we might kill you actually in the woods in Arkansas, Nick Cage. And he's like, well, you got to take a chance.
You win some, you lose some is all.
Yeah. It's such, I mean, I know part of it was like he owed a bunch of taxes at one point. So it was like he had to make money to pay back his tax bill or whatever. And I think he went bankrupt one time because of a bad investment. And also he's a spendthrift. Like, he bought like a dinosaur skull one time or something. And he bought he bought a bunch of comic books and he bought a bunch of mansions and shit. Anyway,
I mean, to be honest,
my point is,
if I was fucking crazy rich, I would totally buy a dinosaur skull if I could.
I don't know that I would buy a dinosaur skull. I would absolutely buy something absurd that newspapers would write about how Joel spent his money in a stupid way. Like, I do that and I don't have any money.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I mean, the Lord of the Rings swords at my house. Let's not even get into it. Like, there's some fucking, you can just see all the nerd shit behind me. My God.
As I have told my daughters several times, it is not normal for a person in my tax bracket to go to Disney as often as I do. So, like,
I mean,
being my child, you should not have been to both coasts twice already. Okay. They're 11. The girls are 11 and they've been to Disneyland twice. And Disney World twice.
I walked into Disney World for the very first time, my first day of employment there.
I was going to say, when Uncle Walt was paying you to be there.
I literally had never gotten to go in my life until I went, I did my audition. I got because I got hired pending audition. They didn't even make me audition until I got there. So, like, also I was like, I'm moving to Florida. And I didn't even know if I really had a fucking job. They were just like, you're a really good height, ma'am. And I was like, okay, sounds good. Let's do this. I was so terrified.
Do you know how rare it is to find an actor that short?
That is this height in particular, this very weird in-between height. And as a matter of fact, they measured me in my interview. Like, when they came to tech to visit campus, this woman...
Is that right?
Yes, this woman...
I was eyeballing it, but it's perfect.
She literally was, like, having small talk with me, and she was, like, starting to sweat. And I was like, something's really off here. And she was like, oh my God, I'm sorry, can I measure you? And literally got out a fucking tape measure. Insane. Yeah, your kids are living the fucking life. They're doing good. Oh.
Nancy says, I heard that everything in Tasmania and Australia will eat you. Texas too. That is absolutely true. That is mostly true about Louisiana and Florida.
Texas doesn't have gators, like, at all.
Yeah, they don't have gators. That's true. Florida and Louisiana both have plenty of those.
Arkansas,
in addition to, like, mosquitoes that can carry you away like they're pterodactyls.
Oh my God.
I literally, Ashley, here I sit in Denver working all this week. and I have 4 separate places on my body with a bug bite so large that I have been like eyeing it day to day in the mirror to make certain that there's not like an infection or something.
Did you have to draw like a little circle around it in Sharpie so that you can keep an eye on it?
I haven't done that yet, but one of them I genuinely started to, because it's like, I mean, like you're like, what sort of, how could I not have noticed when I was bit by a mosquito
been in your
that
shirt
large?
on the plane, Joel. That's how nefarious these motherfuckers are. Like, that's how sneaky mosquitoes are.
V says about Renfield, to get back to the point at hand, the Renfield movie with Nick Cage. She says that's a really fun, goopy one. And then the Vordelok is the other one that she suggests.
Goopy?
Goopy. Goopy.
Love it. I like
yeah,
goopy.
That, I'll say the trailers for that one look kind of goopy now that you mention it. I'd forgotten about it, honestly. Then she says the Vordelok, I believe is how you pronounce this. And I've seen the trailers for this. Somebody shared it in the Facebook group, I think, when it first came out. The trailer, I mean. That's a French language Eggers-esque take, where one of the main characters is an amazing puppet. I believe the Vordelok, the vampire, is a puppet.
Well, that's very cool.
Yeah, it looks very interesting. Now, it's very artsy fartsy. If you're not into that, you probably won't like it. If you don't really like foreign language films, it's not going to work for you, obviously.
If you don't like puppets and French, this might not be up your alley.
Here's my thing. I don't. If you don't have your captions on already for regular content, I really don't understand what you're doing.
I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. I mean, honest to God, like, they're on for everything.
How do you do it? How do you do it?
How do you hear without being able to read?
I know everybody's mad at the sound design. I genuinely assumed that it's because my sound system at home is not up to snuff with what they expect me to have. And so the mix doesn't sound right coming out of my speakers. But like, regardless, I'm gonna put them fucking captions on. So genuinely, whether it's in French or English.
It's because I'm half fucking deaf by this point in my life, because I never wore earplugs at a concert.
I didn't either, really. My father would always complain. He'd be like, you gotta protect your hearing.
I know,
of course,
and we never
he couldn't
did.
hear worth a damn.
Well, because he fucking knew, Joel. He went deaf. That's why he told us to protect our ears, and we didn't do it. And now we're all going fucking deaf.
Man, oh, wait. I've got to share this. Patrick says, I stand by our homegrown serial killers. Thank you.
We do have some nice ones.
Ed Gein.
What a treat.
Right? Like that, right all right off the top.
A fucking belt made of nipples.
I mean, when you inspire Hannibal Lecter and Psycho and
a fucking chainsaw.
Fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. All in one go? Like, that's a pretty good spread there if we're going to applaud
you look like someone's creepy uncle. Like, you did all that. Made furniture out of people. God bless.
Patrick says same, or Tania says same, Patrick. I'll stay in my happy liberal Seattle with all the killers.
Yeah, don't sleep on the Pacific Northwest, y'all. They are ripe up there.
Nancy says anything with 8+ legs is against Jesus.
Or no legs. I'm also very troubled by no legs.
Let me put in a word here for spiders. I thought this was so, and I think I've mentioned it on the show before. If you like science fiction at all, there's a great trilogy, which I am halfway through the 3rd book right now. It's called the Children of Time series by Tchaikovsky's his last name. What's his first name? Adrian Tchaikovsky. Children of Time, Children of Ruin, Children of Memory. Those are the 3 books. The first book this is the only thing that I'm going to spoil for you. Because the whole series is great. But this is like in the first chapter you get this. The idea is that in the future of humanity, we have spread to the stars and we've begun to terraform other planets because the fact of the matter is we fucked up Earth pretty good and we know it's just a matter of time before we got to get off this rock.
I wonder where they came up
with that idea. So we're terraforming all these planets. Right, I know. So they're terraforming all these planets. There is unrest on Earth, though. And just before the beginning of the first planet is going to be seeded with all of this. First thing they're going to do is they're going to send down a bunch of apes. They're also going to send down this genetic virus that raises the intelligence of the apes so that they can basically become perfect servants for us whenever the humans get there, and we'll have a civilization ready for us to control, right? That's the idea. It doesn't work because there's unrest on Earth. there's a civil war that happens. We basically nuke the planet, and it's like post-apocalypse everything. And then they send out a final signal from Earth. These rebels that have destroyed the world, they send out a final signal from Earth that kills all the technology, basically. So all the machines stop working. Any of the colonists that are working, any of the terraformers that are working throughout the galaxy, when they get the signal, they die. But what ends up happening on this one planet that they had finished terraforming and that already had like some Earth life, like animal life was there, the virus gets dropped even though the apes didn't. And so the virus starts working on lots of species, but the ones that it works the best on, for whatever reason, are arachnids. And so thousands and thousands of years later, you get intelligent arachnid species. In particular, there's this one kind of spider that is like the best. They become the smartest and dominate the planet. They call themselves portids, I think, I think it's portids is the name of like the species or whatever. But anyway, the whole reason that Adrian wrote that book that way is because he was like, I wanted to think of like, what is the least empathetic thing that we could try to make a connection with?
Right.
And if humanity could get along and move past our innate fear of spiders, then maybe we could get past any racism or misogyny or whatever, right? That's the point of the book, is to get past the otherness.
Then you can knock out clowns.
Right. Anyway, really good book, and it really did make me see spiders in a different way. The second book, well, I said I wasn't going to give you any more spoilers, so I won't. But read the series; it's good if you like sci-fi.
Spiders coexist with me in my home before. Like, you stay up there and you do your thing. You can kill any mosquitoes or any flies that are in the house. Get it, buddy. And as long as you don't come into my space, then we can live here.
This is good. I'll never get used to the spiders either, Jess says. I found one in my car once and left it in the car park and caught a bus home instead. Luckily, my husband's from Queensland, where they are way worse. Think bird-eating spiders. So he's used to it and dealt with it. Bird-eating... I just want to reiterate that. Bird-eating spiders. Birds can fly.
Well, also...
friend. They can get away.
These are Australia birds, so what kind of fucking birds are we talking about, you know?
Patrick says, one thing I would love in the movie nights is to tie them to the works of Anne Rice, common themes, influences, etc. I feel like we try to do some of that. Patrick, thank you for that, Patrick.
Yeah.
I feel like we do try to do some of that.
That's always the intention. Sometimes we get too excited just talking about the movie.
Well, and definitely in the beginning, we were only really picking movies that, the first few movies that we did, they were all very directly related to Anne's work in some way. Since we're doing so many now, as we look forward to the future, and we're going to be doing this for a long time, we hope, it's like, well, we open that up a little bit. Like, genuinely, I think one of the ones we'll eventually get around to is like, we need to do some Wolfman shit. Like, I'm a big Wolfman fan.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So like, and there's going to be, Eggers is going to do a werewolf movie as his next one. So we might do that one eventually too.
Did someone suggest Poltergeist?
Yes. Okay. So Poltergeist and The Howling are currently in the Patron.
God, I love The Howling
poll.
Too. Okay.
So I've never seen The Howling.
Oh, The Howling is awesome. It's very 80s.
I'm a big werewolf fan, and I saw a lot of them, but The Howling was one of those that, like, just from the trailers that I saw as a kid and like the the VHS box in the rental store, I was like, I don't think I can do that one. Actually,
so good. It's so good. Now, Poltergeist is one of my top 3 favorite films of all time. I love Poltergeist. It is like, sometimes I'm just like, I'm gonna sit down and watch the happy part of Poltergeist, which is just a nice family story until the fucking, the fucking people start getting scooted across the floor, with the power that's unseen in the home. It's all fun and games until, you get sucked into the television and your kid gets strangled by a clown doll. That's the reason why I don't like clowns. It's not it. This happened before it. It was that goddamn clown doll in Poltergeist. Oh God. Ugh.
Mandy mentions here, I'm gonna put it back on the stream. She's talking about Nick Cage. At first I was like, where did this come from? Who is she talking about? Nick Cage has a pyramid tomb waiting for him in St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 in New Orleans. That was a very fun part of the tour.
Awesome.
And Nancy points out that the IRS couldn't take it either when he owed them, that they couldn't take the tomb. And in the tour, Mandy says they mentioned that he could move in there if he ever loses everything.
He could
So
just
there
live
you
in
go.
his own tomb until he just squat in his tomb. Like a fucking
and
vampire.
I had forgotten this, but he also owned the La Laurie house, which is right next to Gallier, the Rue Royale townhouse.
Awesome.
So yeah, he owned Madame La Laurie's house for a long time.
You know he's a Coppola too.
You forget that because he goes by Cage, but he just didn't want the nepetism that some of them
he didn't want
have dealt with. Yeah, he comes from proper Hollywood stock there.
Yeah. He's got a Nepo uncle.
Patrick says, RE mosquito bites. Yet when vampires do it, we're all swooning. I'll point out, when vampires bite, in none of the lore that I am aware of, does the bite fester and grow into a great big itchy
a welt
bump.
Let's fucking kill me and get it over with. I just killed a mosquito in this room a minute ago. I just want to denote that because it's May in the South and they are already the fuck here. They are
mosquitoes aren't hot. That is the boy. Okay, now knowing how many of y'all really like Orlok and genuinely find him hot, which we're going to talk about here in a second. Yeah, okay. So Mandy, I wanted to go back to the feedback for Nosferatu. Mandy Taylor says, despite being completely wrong about the 2024 film being 10 minutes too long, Ashley and Joel.
I loved that.
This episode earns the Orlok stamp of approval, Joel and Ashley. And she wrote the Articulate Coven down and then she gave it the Orlok
yes, because she's got
stamp.
That badass wax stamp.
I remember, Mandy, you posted that when you bought it, back when the movie came out, you had ordered that. She says, there are a very finite number of times this toy of mine has a legitimate purpose. So forgive me for pulling out a candle to melt wax at 7:45 a.m.
I love it.
But
we
also,
appreciate the commitment.
Also, you guys might belong to him now. Check the fine print. Okay. Charlotte Edwards had a great piece of feedback that I want to discuss at a little bit of length here. Charlotte says, I was a bit frustrated by the remake, the 2024 Nosferatu, because they made Ellen less heroic and more of a victim. And I was sort of shocked by that because you and I specifically talked about how we felt like Ellen had more agency in the new one. But she makes a good point here. For a woman to have less agency in 2024 than over 100 years before was a shame, but everyone else loves it, so I think I must be looking at it wrong. And here's she elaborates on it a little bit. She said, I think I just really like the 1920s Ellen. The monster has absolutely nothing to do with her.
Right.
Well, except for the fact that her husband helped him buy a house, right? But it's not her responsibility. And yet Ellen fixes it anyway.
Well, that's true.
Which is a good point. In the 2024 version, Ellen is literally the reason why Orlok knows about Whisperg at all. Right? He is drawn to Ellen more than anything else.
Yeah, because she fucking was like, hey, come hang out with me. I'm a lonely. She's not even a little kid. It's not even like you were fucking around as like a little kid and we're like, I wish I had a playmate. I wish I had a little sister, a little brother. No, you were like a teenager and you were bored and you summoned a fucking vampire friend.
That is the one, and I hadn't really thought about it when we were watching it, but when I read Charlotte's feedback, I was immediately like, yeah, why not give us, like, who died right before she says that prayer at the opening of the film, right? Like, surely there was a tragedy in her life of some sort that caused her to feel that level of loneliness.
Yeah, I don't know. Or is she just a fucking overreactive teenager like we all have been?
Yeah, maybe she was just 15. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. She says that
too long. I just feel that way about his movies in general.
No, just generally. Yes.
Just generally.
He just, again, we'll reiterate.
Maybe
every man should have a woman editor.
Maybe I didn't pick it up at that moment that she was horny right then. But if that's it, then I say fucking yeah, summon your demon friend. I get it. Get it, sis.
The demonic imaginary friend backstory is interesting, but it makes her less brave to me because if you summon a demon and his rat friends, you probably should try and get rid of them.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the live stream, although I sadly won't be there live. Thank you, regardless, Charlotte, for that feedback, because genuinely it was good. And listen, that's what you all are for. Like, we are like half of a brain, right? Like
Yeah.
Ashley and I'll get together and see it from one angle, but we need the rest of you to point us in a different direction and give us more than that, you know?
Yeah, especially when I fucking like double fist 2 movies like that in a row. Like I definitely need more you know, opinions and outlooks.
Mandy says, put some mosquitoes in Carol Cutshaw designed costumes. We might change our tunes.
Well, look, listen.
Whoever Lestatted Sam should
give
mosquito the
mosquitoes a glow up.
mosquitoes.
Lord, I did say double fist.
Nightmare fuel. Let's see. I don't find. So Jenny says, I don't find clown scary at all.
I get it. I understand. Like it is silly. I feel like it's silly. But then people just prove my point, you know? Like then fucking, you know, John Wayne Gacy's fucking clowning around and, you know, and that's a real fucking dude that put people under his floorboards.
Orlok just seemed like a particularly grungy Chicago landlord.
Patrick, when I saw this come by when you first said it, I thought I was gonna die. That is so fucking funny. Oh.
The Howling is one of those 80s werewolf movies where the victim waits around for 20 minutes for the extensive transformation to finish. Patrick nailed that one too. They're all that way, right? Like, and listen, it's one of my favorite things about werewolf movies, honestly, is the body horror of the transformation.
Yeah.
It's such a good metaphor for puberty. It's such a good metaphor for all sorts of things. It's one of the reasons why we love Anne's vampire stories, right? Is because vampirism is it's an addiction metaphor. It's a sexuality metaphor. It's a metaphor for otherness. It's everything, right? It can be whatever the writer or creator wants it to be. Those transformations are fucking cool though. And think of the industries that they, employed. So I don't mind that they took too long and didn't make sense in the moment.
The fucking geniuses that work to make those effects happen practically, like those guys are some boss ass motherfuckers. I love special effects makeup artists. Like I am just always amazed with their work, and practical shit works so much better for me than any kind of CGI, just anytime.
Patrick says, question, any theories about Daniel's coughing in the season 3 promo? Okay, so you're talking about the thing where we saw Lestat come in and film the little thing, just like the little tease, and then we get the taste of Long Fangs. Yeah, and Nancy says it. Lestat caused Daniel's cough. He's choking him. He's force choking him with his mind. Because he asks about the novel, and Lestat doesn't say anything, but Daniel suddenly can't speak anymore. And so that's your answer. What did he think about the book? He chokes him. That's what he thought about the book.
Love a little force joke. Yeah, Daniel's turned by that point. Because we see him take off his glasses at the end of that as he's exiting the studio from that. Is that right?
Yeah, Daniel is, yes. Yes, Daniel is already, so we see him, that comes after the book is out, and we see him at the end of season 2 promoting the book, and he's already turned, right? Like he was turned that night in the penthouse when Louis threatens Armand and says, be the fuck out of here when I get back. Don't harm him or I'll kill you. And then he leaves. Armand fucking turned Daniel. Like that, Louis is apologizing to Daniel on the phone when they talk at the end of season 2. So yeah, absolutely. Daniel's not sick. Daniel doesn't have some disease or anything. He was just getting force choked by Lestat. And genuinely, I can't recall. I don't know if the novels ever have an instance of them doing a force choke, but like, of course you can. If they can move things with their mind, then I can squeeze your neck with my mind. Like that makes total sense.
Yeah, I'm never going to bitch about a force choke.
I will say this though. If Daniel is made by Armand, and if it is true in the TV series as it is in the books that Armand had never made another vampire before that, then Daniel is a really powerful motherfucker.
Yeah.
And at this point in the show, Lestat should not be that uber powerful. So the fact that he was able to so easily choke Daniel, you could argue with if you want to like run down the vampire power cards, but we're not talking about X-Men and we're not 13 years old.
What's canon, Joel? Who even fucking knows? Is the force choke canon?
Yeah, Jenny says Daniel has turned, hasn't he? Yeah, Daniel was already turned by that time. Absolutely. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. Renee says, every time I watch Howling, I double feature with Ginger Snaps. Speaking of puberty, a good female coming of age movie. Okay,
Seen
Ginger Snaps is one that's on. I haven't either. It's one that's been on my list for years and years and years, and it's just I never get around to it for whatever reason. One of those reasons is I spend a whole week rewatching season 1 of Andor, and like I'm literally thinking right now about going back and rewatching Man in the High Castle from Amazon Prime, which is about like the alternate universe where Hitler wins.
Yeah, I just rewatched The Looming Tower on Hulu, which is a awesome like lead up to 9/11 story.
So I thought I would find it on the Facebook page, or Facebook group, but I missed it earlier. But I'll mention it here. Mandy adds this, but Mandy said in the group, "Hey Joel, seriously, it's not a joke. Some of us do find Orlok sexy. Speaking of sexy Orlok, it's the voice and the language. The bells of dawn shall toll in despair of my coming." Okay. To me, the one is. I'm trying to God, I thought about it earlier, and I said it in the show. I said it in the episode we did last week. There's one of his lines in particular that where he like holds it out. I get it, I guess a little bit. He's just the fucking boils on his back, man. I can't get behind it.
Not great. I also really I was really thrown because that's not the Skarsgård I thought was under all that makeup. So I was really completely fucking confused because I honestly thought it was the other brother in that. Oh Lord, I love the Skarsgårds though.
Man, they're all so amazing. Stellan Skarsgård's so fucking good in Andor.
Oh my God,
it's just unbelievable.
Amazing.
Patrick says, I'll put it back on the screen here. Patrick says, still don't think the Louis Lestat romantic reunion scene actually happened.
Ooh.
The corresponding book scene Lestat claims is made up. And this scene feels off stylistically. I cannot imagine them rewriting it. It was so. Listen, I will say this, and if they do, fucking Rollins a genius because he seeded it. Because we pointed it out when we talked about it. That they wanted that event to happen around a hurricane, right? But there is no hurricane in New Orleans during the timeline where that happens. And so like, I mean, yes, this isn't in our world or whatever, but it is because they talk about the fucking pandemic. So like, anyway, my point is this, if it turns out that that's a lie and either Lestat or Louis made that up for whatever reason, it will be interesting, but it will specifically mirror what they did with season 1, where Louis is spoken to telepathically by Lestat after he's turned, and we were like, hey, how do you fuck something up like that when you literally make the whole episode about, and they didn't fuck it up. It was a point. It was a plot point that would be brought up in season 2 later. So I do have faith that if you're right and the stylistic nature of that scene was off because it is going to be revealed to not have actually happened. Here's the other interesting part of that. That means that we do get our reunion scene from the end of the Vampire Lestat novel, right? We'll get it then.
Right.
Where and I think that would be kind of fitting.
I don't see that not being possible because it's not like this wasn't necessarily like we're back together, everything's groovy scene. That's not how I think they walked away from this. I think they walked away with some peace with each other. I don't think that this was like a coming back together for them as a couple at this point yet. I think that it's an acknowledgement that it's something that could happen in the future, but I think that Louis fucking fired up and pissed off, and I don't think he's really looking to fucking settle down right now. Not that like fucking settling down is a thing with Lestat, but I mean, you know what I mean. I think he's got some fucking trouble to cause first.
I mean, to be fair, Louis and Lestat have several reunion scenes in the books, but
absolutely,
there is not a happy ending until the end. The final book, Blood Communion, has that scene that I genuinely hope we get in the show, no matter how deep they make it in the novels.
Right.
But there is
put it into the current timeline.
Yeah, man. Like, and Anne, it's so interesting in retrospect because I don't think Anne intended for that to be the end of the Vampire Chronicles. She didn't know she'd pass away, right? Obviously. And I don't think she intended for that to be the end of the story. And yet she so fittingly ended it. If you haven't read those Prince Lestat books, I really cannot recommend them enough. I know a lot of people get squirrely about the middle one, but like the whole trilogy is good. Don't let the title of that middle one scare you off. Just jump in with both feet. Nancy says here, Patrick, I didn't see that reunion scene as a romantic reunion, but a sad reckoning. Boy, that is fitting. Louis says, I didn't see it as a gift, right? And I do think that is, I think that's an accurate way to see it. It's not like they're making out at the end of it. They are together.
Right.
They are
but
holding
they're not
one
going
another.
To, I don't think they're going to stay together. They're going to go.
Yeah, I didn't get that impression. And we see that they don't because Louis back in the pit house declaring all the vampires to come get him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't count as their happy ending anyway. Jenny says regular Bill Skarsgård is hot. Nosferatu Bill Skarsgård, not so much.
Bill doesn't, Bill. I think it's just because Bill's played so many characters I found so creepy. And I don't know if you've seen Barbarian yet, but like
I haven't.
It's so fucking
heard good things about it.
Fucking good. It's so good.
There's two that are on my list right now that I feel like are sort of similar in a way. Barbarian and Heretic is the other one with I'm
charmingly befuddled. Fucking
yes. Fuckity fuck. What is his name?
Yeah, Hugh Grant.
I was like the guy Notting Hill and 4 Weddings and a Funeral. And the prostitute in Beverly Hills.
Yes, I'm charmingly befuddled. Yeah, exactly. I haven't seen that one yet.
Hugh Grant somewhere right now is like, hey man, that was 30 years ago, and fucking Jay Leno got me on like.
He handled it like a boss. Actually, it was pretty cool.
Let it go.
He was with one of the most beautiful women in the world at that time. Elizabeth Hurley. Oh Lord.
I mean, she was literally. They didn't do like sexiest woman alive or anything, but like she would have won it 2 or 3 years in a row. She was so
beautiful.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean,
she is
such a strange
beautiful.
situation.
Yeah,
it's like she looks better than Hugh Grant does now, and Hugh Grant looks better than he did then. It's so weird. I mean, anyway,
time's a hell of a thing, kids. Time's a hell of a thing.
The trailer for Heretic looks really good, and it reminded me of in some ways of like the setup for Barbarian, which seems to be like, hey, it's just a house, but it's not just a house.
Look, listen, that movie fucking, and I was holding him accountable for some shit, and it is just a wild ride. It just didn't go the way I expected it to go at all. I was like, oh, this is this movie. This is going to be a ride. But then no, it was a ride, but it just wasn't that movie that I thought it was at all.
It wasn't that ride that we intended to go on. Yeah.
It had a drop that I did not see coming.
It had a drop that I did not see coming. That's how I described Rise of the Resistance the first time that I read it. It looks like Ginger Snaps is on AMC right now, according to IMDb. I will have to check that out. Thank you, Mandy, for that information. All of us can check out Ginger Snaps if we haven't seen it before. Let's see. I hope it's on, Jenny says, I hope it's on Canadian AMC. It's not always the same.
We should all get the same treats.
Where are we? Let's see. I agree with Ashley. This scrolling is not going well for me. They
I don't have a real mouse attached to anything right now.
Oh, there we go. I think there was simply too much weight put on the reunion scene for it to be something revealed untrue. Yeah.
And the way the actors feel about it, like just hearing the actors talk about it, that is something that I do. Unless they're not in on it at all. But man, the way that they've talked about how that scene means, what that scene means to them, and how they won't talk about what was said,
Yeah. This is too good not to share. You gotta guard them scars, Patrick. I think that's the title of the episode. Actually, you gotta guard them scars with the little accent whatever over
is that an umlaut?
Maybe it is an umlaut. I don't know what an umlaut is. Actually, I know that it's a Norwegian, Scandinavian, North European thing.
Brett's learning
Hugh
Norwegian.
Grant and Nicholas. Is he really?
Yeah.
Why? I mean,
he's got Norwegian family.
You don't need a reason.
No, he has a Norwegian
okay.
family. They found him on Facebook. It was so weird. They were like, "You look like the Eilers here," and they started talking, and they had the same great grandfather. Wild.
Okay, Kelly says my scrolling has been difficult too. Okay, good. I'm glad it's not just me.
Oh, umlaut's the 2
Patrick
dots.
says yes, 2 dots for the umlaut. So there we go. And it was an umlaut. All right.
Well, now we're disagreeing.
Okay, Hugh Grant and Nicholas Hoult were in a movie 30 years ago, and I recently watched an interview with the two of them catching up, and they discuss Heretic and Nosferatu.
Was it the boy? Was it the boy?
About a Boy.
About a Boy.
Is the name of it.
Yeah.
About a Boy. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think I've
forget
seen
Nicholas
that one,
Hoult
actually.
is the boy in that. Is the kid in that?
It's crazy to think about that, right? That he's been on film for that long. I'm good on him, by the way, because it's so difficult to make the transition, right?
Yeah.
From child actor to adult actor. And I mean, we talked about him last week during Nosferatu. He's fantastic.
I like him a lot.
Nancy points out about that reunion scene we were talking about at the end of season 2 for Interview with a Vampire. It's not told through unreliable narrator eyes. Yeah, that's my thing. Is like it's told from. It feels like it's told from the perspective of the showrunners.
Yeah, like we're
it's
watching.
our perspective.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's not clear who the narrator is.
That's why I think that's why it feels different than the rest of the show, because the rest of the show is either the interview portions, which are real, and then it's flashbacks as the story is being told, right?
Right.
It's why I do think we should set ourselves up for a bit of surprise and some uncomfortability.
Of course.
About the nature of the storytelling in season 3. Like, how is this going to be presented to us? Some of it will be flashbacks that will play out very much like the flashbacks. Right. The stories of New Orleans and of Paris are all told in retrospect with a narrator, and much of the Vampire Lestat will be that way as well.
But we'll still
until
be
we
getting
get to the modern day.
Yeah, and then it's real time, and the modern day is the actions happening in modern day, as opposed to like the interviews happening in modern day. You know what I mean?
Well, and even with the interview, one would imagine if they make it an interview, like he's literally dictating this to Daniel, for instance, if that's the way that they're going to do it, it's going to be while he's on tour or while he's working towards the tour. Yeah. So it's still going to be like, I do think we might get some actual fucking, like almost This Is Spinal Tap level, like concert film feeling. Yeah, yeah,
kind of like an Almost Famous kind of vibe.
Or fuck it, what's the song Remains the Same in that the Led Zeppelin documentary? Like, yeah, I think that actually could be what we're doing here. Okay, Mandy had a great pice of feedback on we will call it sin when we wait, I got
oh my god,
Patrick, that's fucking 2, buddy. You were knocking it out of the park tonight. Thank you. We skipped it. It's way back in the chat now, but several of you have said some version of, oh man, it's so fun to do the live stream, or I think you guys need to do more live streams or whatever. First of all, it's difficult to schedule, right? Because we want to make it at a time when it's convenient for a lot of you all to hang out, and it's hard enough for me and Ashley to find time to do it. But then secondly, I do think there is a part of the live, if we're going to do a live stream I don't think an average episode, one of our average episodes, would be very good as a live stream, because Ashley and I get very much into the conversation with each other, and we wouldn't pay any attention to the chat. So you guys would be having your own conversation over here, or we do what we've done in this episode where we keep going back to the chat, and therefore we don't maintain a thread really.
Absolutely.
So I think it has its place. We'll definitely do more of them because they're fun to do, and they're low. I mean, very frankly, they're kind of low effort on our part.
Low risk, high reward.
We didn't do a lot of. We didn't do a lot of research. For instance, we're an hour and 15 minutes into this almost, and we haven't gotten to our cover song discussion yet.
Right, exactly.
All right, let's see. If we get more seasons and it's a century between seasons, they're going to have to recast. That is one of my concerns. I mean, I say that. Jacob and Sam are both of an age, and so is Assad. They're all of an age where genuinely you could run them for 15 years and we could fudge it in our minds. Like, they're not going to change that much.
Good makeup, some good skincare. Sandblasting.
Keep them out of the sun.
Keep them out of the fucking
we better
sun.
Jenny says we better get some actual concert stuff happening in season 3. I think they're gonna really do some performances. I don't know if they'll do an actual tour. I don't even know if they'll actually do like a full concert somewhere. But I do think they are going to have like okay, if you have the Apple Vision Pro thing, they released a thing a couple of months ago with Metallica where they shot with spatial cameras at one of their concerts. But it's only like 3 songs. It's like 3 songs in a row and a little bit of banter in between. And that's the whole piece of content that they put out. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're going to do a whole concert anywhere. I would put money on it. Sam will perform as Lestat somewhere in public before the show is released, is my guess. Really and then some of that footage or footage like it will be used in the show.
Even if it's literally just shooting shit for the show, they're gonna use anything that they've got that's extra that they can use to tease things. They will. I mean, my God, why would they not?
I think if you did it live on Facebook, more people would pop in. Tania, you're 100% right. And I think Riverside's got a way where I could live stream 2 platforms. I could send this to YouTube. I know. I think Facebook's one of the ones that they support. TikTok and some other stuff like that. There's a couple reasons I don't. First and foremost, the same reason why we do we post in the Facebook group and we don't really post a lot of stuff other than our Instagram reels anywhere else, is because the Facebook group we control. Like, I don't have time for some rando's opinion on our opinion of these gay ass vampires, very frankly. I just don't care what normies think about what we think about these vampires or the witches either. That's another, like, and so, I mean, it's not that I mind negative comments, because I genuinely don't give a fuck.
No,
but
we always want like proper feedback
keep it
from
contained.
y'all. But yeah,
Here's the other thing.
We get to control the playground.
Riverside, this chat allows me to do things like put your comments up on screen, and I don't know a good way to do that if we're streaming to other platforms. So like the Facebook people would be commenting there, but I'd have to have another computer up to track the comments and try to bring them in, and we couldn't show them on screen, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why we don't do that yet. I could get better at it though as we do more, I suppose. So you're duly noted. We'll think about it.
Noted.
Okay. Nancy made a good comment back here that I wanted to get to. All right. They better use real wolves for the hunt scene and not that crap CGI that desecrated Mayfair.
Oh, God.
Somebody else makes the point. Mayfair was already desecrated before the wolves, and that is absolutely true.
Yeah.
But Nancy, for reals, you know how I feel about the wolf killer scenes. It's so important to the character of Lestat that even before he was immortal, even before he knew anything of the supernatural world, even when he had a mother and father that basically ignored him and brothers who hated him, he put his life on the line to, not for glory, like he didn't expect to live, I think, honestly, but he knew these wolves needed to die, and it was on him. None of his brothers would do it. His father was too old and decrepit. Like it was him. He was the master of the manor. And so he had to go out there and kill these fucking wolves and save his village. And so he did it. I think it's incredibly important. It's one of the reasons why I do mourn the fact that the series doesn't start with the scene. The series as a whole is about Lestat. And I do know that this TV series is different because of Jacob, and I don't take that away. But the fact of the matter is she wrote like 12 books with Lestat, and she wrote 1 with Louis at the center. Right? Let's just keep it in context. So please, please don't fuck up my wolves. Yes, absolutely.
And even if they're CGI, they just need to be really fucking well done.
Fucking better. Exactly.
Come on. Spend the money on that.
Start the anti-aging skincare now.
Yeah, because we don't want them to Botox. That fucks up your face.
You would think, given the emphasis on live performances, we'd be getting a lot of media or intel from it. Weird we actually haven't heard anything yet. I don't think it's done. I don't think the music is done yet. The scripts are finished. The writing room is done. Although because we don't have a strike, because we don't have a pandemic going on, the writers will be involved on set as well. So things will be changing a little bit as they go. It's a wonderful thing to have the opportunity of. It's normally how productions are done. It just hasn't been the case for the last couple of seasons of this show. But yeah, I think that's the reason we haven't heard more. I don't think the music's done. And I also would not be surprised if the music output is way more than what they need or can use for the show itself, right? Like my guess is it's going to be a fucking double album.
That would not shock me. At least, at least we're talking a good 14 tracks.
Yeah, but in the show, I think we probably get like 5 or 6, maybe, and I think that's part of what's going on now is like, what are the best ones? What are the ones that can be most effective in storytelling as well? Which ones can we tie a theme for a whole episode to or something, right? And then we go in and double down on those by creating music videos for them, or that's the one we're going to try to pitch for SNL for Lestat to come on as the musical guest or whatever.
Oh my God,
so I think that's all still in the works. I think we will hear it. I just think it's far away. You do have to remember, like we're like 2 weeks now still from the Talamasca trailer.
Yeah.
Probably get that in October. And then my guess is we won't see, I guess it's probably going to be May is my guess, guys. They're going to start shooting the thing in June. We'll be lucky if they can get it out within under a calendar year. So my guess is that we'll get the show at the beginning of May or the end of April, probably. But my point is there's a lot of time for teasing and for promotion still. So don't worry about that too much. If he performs anywhere, it's probably New Orleans or maybe LA or NYC. Okay, so I don't think it's going to be in New Orleans, actually. I do think it's probably LA if there's like one actual performance, because that's where he performs in the book.
Yeah, in the book.
Like, why not do the Los Angeles concert,
highway, and that whole car chase and
do it in the fucking Hollywood Bowl. Like, literally, Oh, Patrick says he hasn't seen any comments on screen. That is so interesting. You guys, okay, so it's in the recording. I'm sorry that you're missing it now.
That is hilarious.
But in the recording, when you watch this back on YouTube, you'll be able to see the comments when I put them up on screen.
Maybe you can see them.
Yeah, I think so anyway. I'm fairly certain they worked the last time anyway that way. Rollin will do it right. I have faith.
Yes.
I think so too. Mandy says, I've put more faith in Rollin than most humans at this point.
I mean, we all need someone to believe in.
Mandy, this is info. This is intel I didn't know. Daniel Hart listed as writing credit for this season. So exciting. That is very exciting. It also tells me though, and I'm going to go back to YouTube for a second because there was a comment on the Long Face. So I did a reaction to the Long Face music video way back when. In the Red Cold is this user's name. That's interesting. 4 hours ago, they commented on that video and said, Lestat is a pansexual king. I do have concerns, however. I do not want a musical. And the producers talked about a complete tour. Have we not learned? I was hoping we'd get a nice 5-season story arc, so please, please don't fuck it up by going overboard. So first of all, I disagree entirely with this, although thank you for the comment in the red. I don't think it's going overboard. I think that this is, again, and we've talked about this is cheap promotion. The fact of the matter is paying Sam for his time to go and do a thing.
Well, and I think
here or there or whatever.
Concert shit and music videos are different than like turning this season into a fucking musical, like an actual musical, which would be horrible, and I would be very uncomfortable and not what I want.
Here's a for instance. I don't think Jacob's going to sing this season. I don't think Jacob's going to sing.
Yeah.
And I know Jacob is the actual working musician, not Sam.
He shouldn't. It doesn't make any sense.
He shouldn't. No, it's not the Vampire Louis. It's not the Vampire Louis novel.
Even if it were the Vampire Louis novel, his character is not a musician.
I mean, we've already seen Lestat be a musician in the show several times.
Right.
Like he wrote 2 pieces of music that we're aware of already in canon. So like,
but yeah,
how much Korn music in season 3? None.
Please
I don't,
none.
and I know I'm in the minority in this fucking group by not loving the QOTD soundtrack. Y'all, it's not good. I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. That is not a great soundtrack. I don't know why. I don't even know what you call that. Is it new rock? What did you call that stuff? What is Korn? What do you call that?
It's like alternative metal, alternative rock. What do we call that?
I don't care it. I don't care for it.
Carrot.
Kelly, I don't care for it. I don't care for it. Kelly says Anne had some song lyrics written in the books, right? She did. She very much did. She wrote some lyrics for several of the songs.
Yeah, you got
because,
kind of snippets
novel,
while he's performing too. Like you'll get.
Yes, you hear it sometimes when he's doing the tour, or the one concert. In the novel, he only gets to do one performance. But first of all, Anne's lyrics are not great. Like, let's just be honest.
It's not anything you want to sing.
Lyrics aren't great either.
The lyrics might be interesting, but it's not written the way a lyricist would write.
No
words to be sung.
No, and they're not. Man, I think three or four of my stories in Instagram and Facebook the last couple of days have been people responding to the lyrics of a song from the 90s, or one of them I think was a Pink Floyd song. Somebody's like, oh, Pink Floyd's just 20-minute guitar solos and lyrics that don't mean anything. And then they're like staring off into the middle distance as the line, 10 years have got behind you. No one told you where to run. You missed the starting gun. And they're like, oh, Jesus. I'm like, yeah. There's some deep shit in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Third Eye Blind. I don't know if I've ever been good enough. I'm a little bit rusty and I feel my head is caving in. I don't know if I've ever been truly loved by a hand that's touched me. And it's like, dude, that's fucking art. First of all, it's catchy and he sounds sexy singing it. And we're all like, yeah, man. But again, it's the kind of thing 25 years hence can rattle around in your brain and ruin your whole fucking Thursday, right?
Yeah, man. Woo.
Anyway, Anne's lyrics don't do that.
Yeah.
So I don't want them to bring over very much of that at all. I do hope that the music is, like in the novel, about Lestat's point, which is to tell the vampire story.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, tell his story specifically and the vampiric story as a whole. So I'm hopeful that they keep some of that. Not ditching you guys for anything you did. My family came home and I can't hear a thing you're saying. I'll catch the rest on the recording when you put it out. Yeah, Tania, don't worry about it.
We know how that
you
goes.
couldn't find your headphones. We do understand. Let's see. Daniel Hart is the composer, so he's writing lyrics. Yes, but what we mean is that if he's listed in the writing credits for season 3, that means that there's enough of the music intended to be in there that they're calling it.
Writer credit.
Yes, he's getting a writer credit. So I dig that. I do. And again, this isn't okay. For instance, they just made the Bob Dylan film. What was it? What's the one with Timothée Chalamet?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the name of the movie is. Anyway.
Some
he's
unknown
apparently
dude,
really good in it.
An unknown man,
something unknown
person.
Something unknown. Anyway,
a complete
my point
unknown.
is this, though.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, a complete unknown. There you go. It's the fucking Rolling Stone lyric. Of course,
it's so much
easier
easier when we have you guys.
Like a complete unknown. He's great in that, and the music is really good in that. But that is not a musical, right? There's a lot of songs in it, but it's not a musical film. Sinners was the same way. The music is integral to the film.
Yes.
The characters sing music at different times.
Right.
It is not a musical.
Not a musical.
Here's what makes it a musical. If the town breaks out in a dance number, that's
there goes the baker with his tray like always. Yeah. The same old bread and rolls to sell.
Hurry up, the baguettes.
Oh, that bitch just shitting all over her town first thing in the morning. It's so rude. God damn it, Belle. I like my bread.
Yeah, Jess says the lyrics in the book were a tad cringy, not Anne's strength. I mean, very, very specifically, her husband was the poet. Yeah. You know, Anne was not a poet. Anne was a gifted writer. We have said it a million times. We'll never stop singing her praises.
Sung. Also, not every poem wants to be sung. You all lyrics are different. The song is different.
Mandy says she can see the comments. Yay. All right. So, I mean, it's not just us. I don't know why Patrick couldn't see them earlier. Maybe Sam is one of the guests at the memorial doing a song. Okay, Patrick, that is brilliant wishful thinking, and I am on board for the positivity and optimism. I will tell you, don't buy a ticket to New Orleans expecting to see Sam, because you do have to remember, Christopher don't like the show. Christopher Rice doesn't like the show. I don't think there's going to be anything from the show in it at all.
Yeah.
Maybe here would be a magnanimous move, and this is possible. Jacob and Sam could film a tribute to Anne, right, and show it.
Yeah.
And that would not be, he's not inherently signing off on the thing, but like the fan base largely does love those two. And I mean, even the real book nerds, it's hard to hate Sam when he's looking so fucking Lestat. And Jacob's just adorable. Anyway, I don't expect to see him at the event. I would not expect to see him at the event. Daniel worked with Bowie, which is why Bowie is listed as an influence for TVL, and his influence can be heard in Longface.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely, you can hear Bowie in Longface.
Bowie.
Jenny says she's watching on her iPad in the Riverside app, I'm guessing, and that's why you can see the thing. That makes sense. She also says there's no Rockstar Louis.
Exactly.
Very good point. New metal. Where is it? I just lost it. Okay, new metal is the word that I was looking for.
Yes.
Patrick, thank you, Patrick. I do not like new metal, y'all.
It's not your cup of tea.
Is that what
Joel,
Limp Bizkit was too? Limp Bizkit's not new metal, are they? I don't know. I didn't really like them either. I mean, I sang Nookie just like everybody else did in that moment. I had a wallet chain at the time. Nancy says there's tension between the show and the Rice family. This is one of those things that we really lost by Anne not living.
Yeah.
If Anne had lived, she would have fallen in love. First of all, she couldn't have kept herself away from watching it. She would have loved Sam so fucking much. And Rollin is a sassy gay man. She would have loved Rollin as well.
Yeah.
And the combination would have won her over, even if she had problems with the Jacob casting for Louis, which I don't think. And again, that's a perfect example, because we know Anne is not being racist in her opinion of changing that. It's just she is precious for her character, and I don't think she wanted those radical changes made to the timeline either. I don't think she was hip to the idea of moving it up to the 1900s.
Yeah.
But regardless, she would have been won over, which means that Christopher, there wouldn't be this detente anymore. The family would have been on board.
One would hope.
Yeah. Okay. Joni says that's why I think Bela Lugosi's Dead would be good. She's jumping in there, I think, with a suggestion for the cover songs, which I guess we should get to here.
Cover songs, yeah.
Yeah, cover songs that Lestat could do on the album. Bela Lugosi's Dead is one that somebody else mentioned as well.
I would say Sympathy for the Devil.
Sympathy for the Devil's got to be high on the list. There's so I think that there is the one that occurred to me that, first of all, I just love to hear Sam sing it, because I like to hear almost anybody sing it. The Chris Cornell version of this song was probably my favorite version that's ever been done that I'm aware of. Nothing Compares to You.
Oh.
It's been 7 hours and 15 days since you took your love away.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like that is a Louis.
Yeah.
That is a song for Louis, particularly. Okay, I want to get back to this for just a second. Patrick says, is he on record about not liking the show? Are we inferring based on him being squeezed out? Okay, he has been very circumspect in what he will say about the show at all, which makes it pretty clear to me. And again, this is inference. I haven't heard him say this anywhere. I haven't seen him say it anywhere in writing. I think he's contractually obligated to keep quiet. I think he is under some sort of NDA to not disparage the show directly. Anytime anyone asks him about the AMC deal or any of the shows on his official page or on the Ann page, his comment is formulaic, and it's basically the same thing every time. It's like, we are no longer involved in the production of the show. Please direct your... Yeah, it's a company line thing. Yeah. It feels like it's legalese copied and pasted from his representation. So, yes, he and Anne were sour for many reasons, one of them being that Christopher wasn't going to be allowed in the writer's room. right? Like Christopher, that the Hulu deal, that was part of it. Christopher was going to be involved as a writer. And the AMC deal, that was never really on the table. I don't think that's the only reason they left the show. Christopher might have left because of that, but I don't think Anne would have just because of that. I think they left because there was a disagreement for the changes that were being made. I think in retrospect, they were wrong. Honestly, like I disagree with Christopher on this. I got to tell y'all, if he starts writing VC books on his own, I might disagree with him about that too. I like Christopher. I think he's a good writer. I think he's a good person. He was a great son. But that doesn't mean that I have to agree with everything he does. So there you go. I always fantasized about an animated version of TVL,
Ooh.
and I imagined U2's Zooropa as the opening theme. The lyrics seem like they were written for the TVL QOTD story.
I fucking love
that is
U2
really interesting.
So much. They're one of my favorite bands. I fucking love U2.
Personal Jesus, Depeche Mode. Yeah. Yeah.
I like the Killers, The Man.
Anti-Hero from Taylor Swift. I think I've already gone on record as I think that song was written about Lestat, honestly. It is so perfect. And there's a lot of good fan edits of Lestat footage over that song too. Yeah, Patrick says, I actually just watched QOTD. It's a vibe. Not a satisfactory adaptation of the book, but as a Cliff Notes hot topic version, it is its own thing. Jenny points out that there was a goth band called Lestat. How meta would it be if Lestat sang one of their songs?
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
Shadows of the Night from Pat Benatar.
Oh, yeah.
From Mandy. That's a good suggestion. Oh, this is an even better one, though. Renee says Red Right Hand from Nick Cave.
I love that tune.
Nick, honestly, you could probably pick out a whole album of cover songs from Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds that Lestat would do, if we're being honest. Especially the beginning of Queen of the Damned with the radio noise, like what Lestat would be hearing as he climbed out of his tomb. I do like that. I agree with you there. I'd forgotten that they did that, like but yeah, that is pretty good. Kelly says she loves the personal Jesus suggestion. Okay, I'm going to get to Nancy's real quick while we're in the throes of this, because I'll forget about it if I don't get to them, because she's got some good ones. And she wrote
Smooth Criminal.
Okay. Smooth Criminal. Wow. Okay, so I'm thinking about, here's the thing that I didn't know. For instance, I just saw a TikTok about this today. And it's like this young guy coming in, and then he flips and he's dressed as his grandfather, right? It's like one guy doing both parts. He's the kid and the grandfather. And he goes, Grandpa, this is what's hot today. And he hits play on, and Hot Today. This is like a 10-year-old song now at this point. But he plays Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton. And the grandpa is like kind of vibing with it for a second. And he goes, oh, that ain't new young blood. And he hits play on I'd Rather Go Blind. Who sang I'd Rather Go Blind? Which this is an amazing
Louis,
song,
are you
too.
okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Louis? Fucking Jess, that's hilarious.
I'd Rather Go Blind's by Etta James.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. This would be a good one. This would be a pretty good one for Lestat to cover, too. I'd rather go blind, boy, than to see you walk away from me. So you see, I love you so much that I don't want to watch you leave me. Most of all, I just don't want to be free. No. Anyway, so that'd be a pretty good one for him. But this video makes the point, though, that all Chris Stapleton did with that amazing Tennessee Whiskey version that we all love so much, and that everybody was like, ooh, swoon. He took the Tennessee Whiskey song, which like George Jones and David Allan Coe and a million people had sung, but he put the music from I'd Rather Go Blind by Etta James, which is like a slower, right? He basically, not recomposed. What do you call that? When you, not transpose either. What's the word? Anyway, there's a word for that.
There is.
And I could see that absolutely. You said Smooth Criminal, and I was like, ooh, like a sad, slow version of Smooth Criminal, maybe with like a crazy driving, like a Police style Every Breath You Take beat in the back, maybe like, oh, wait a minute, I could get on something now.
Wrecking Ball.
I can't even like a Wrecking Ball. Sisters of Mercy songs would suit him well. I could hear that. Kind of a joke answer, but it'd be a hoot to hear a cover of Dear God by Ecstasy. I was thinking mostly of Lestat singing to Louis when imagining the music. So I had landed on U2's Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses.
I love that song.
Oh, that's a good one, too. That's a good one.
I like that song a lot.
It will be interesting. If they do in the show and the songs are not Lestat telling the story of vampirism, but it's really just like, instead of one song just to get Louis back, he writes a whole album.
Hot, horny songs. How about NXS Need You Tonight?
And I need you tonight.
I'm not sleeping.
Okay. 3 cover songs for the Vampire Lestat from the Queen of the Damned herself, Nancy Ward. Nancy, this first one at least, I don't know. I'm going to scan through the list. Okay, so I know the second one. I know the third one too. Oh, the third one's so great. Boy, you really build to a crescendo here. This is impressive, Nancy. Good work.
It's a playlist.
All right. Kill to Love You. Tomoyasu Hote, featuring Matt Tuck from Bullet for My Valentine. It's from the album Strangers. Kill to Love You is the name of the song. Which, by the way, I guess now I'm going to have to go through these fucking transcription and pull out all the songs so that I can make a playlist.
Make us a playlist,
probably.
Joel.
Fuck. All right. Here's what we'll do. I'll make the Apple Music version of the playlist and then I'll send it to you so that you can transpose it into Spotify. How about that? But there will be links in the show notes for everybody. There will be a list of these songs in the show notes so we can all go listen to them.
We can make our own playlist.
We're also don't know. Yeah. There are no cryptic lyrics in this song to attempt to decipher. It's written in layman's terms, plain English. It's about the complexities of love and sacrifice and the extreme measures one is willing to take to protect his or her loved ones. Originally, when I first heard this song, I immediately thought it was referencing a vampire-human relationship, and it could very easily be taken for that. Matt Tuck's vocals in this song are so powerful, and they build alongside and completely complement Hote's massive guitar riffs to create an urgency that matches the lyrical theme of the song. I can envision Lestat covering this song as an anthem to his love for Louis, first and foremost, but Lestat's reluctant moral obligations go beyond Louis, which can be witnessed through Lestat's metamorphosis from fledgling to prince.
Damn.
When his mortal family... Right? Like, Nancy's throwing some fucking dissertations at us here.
Right?
When his mortal family was under threat from the French Revolution, his mother tried to deter him from continuing his contact with them. She wanted him to leave his moral conscience behind, to sever all ties with civilized world and join her in the jungles. It was a tie he could not sever, and despite his hatred for his father, he went to New Orleans to care for him and see his father through to the end of his life. Nancy, that's what I'm talking about with the wolf scene at the beginning, right? Like, yeah. Lestat has no reason to be beholden or to care about his family's prosperity at all, other than Gabrielle. He owes Gabrielle something. She is literally his ticket out.
Bitch never taught him how to read,
this
though.
Tragic life. Yeah, let's don't go back there. It's real easy for me to get mad at Gabrielle. I was trying to praise her for a second. but genuinely, like, this is, I think, one of the reasons why we love Lestat. And no matter all the terrible things that he's done, and he does terrible things again and again and again, it is one of the reasons why we continue to see his humanity first, because he shows it again and again for his family, for his loved ones. Lestat goes through cycles of love, hate, forgiveness, self-loathing, self-aggrandizing, death, resurrection, pain, elation, etc., until the final book, where he comes full circle in his maturity and acceptance of who he is, what he is, his place in this world, and finally the sacrifices Lestat, unbeknownst to himself, has had to make to become the tribe's chosen prince, protector, and leader. Marius's speech in the final chapter appropriately summarizes how Lestat has grown into himself and finally discovers the answers to the existential questions which have always plagued him, bringing the Vampire Chronicles to a satisfying end. Slight spoiler for the books, but this is a good quote.
Boom.
The prince did something no blood drinker in the history of our tribe has ever done. And strangely enough, he did not himself even take note of it. The prince, without a second thought, offered his life for the court. He offered to die so that the court might continue. Lestat's a good dude, y'all, even though he's a vampire and a mass murderer.
He's a little bit of a monster, but it's fine.
Okay, this is the one that I do know, Nancy, of your three suggestions. Sahara from Joe Satriani from the album The Elephants of Mars. According to Satriani, by the way, if you don't know, one of the world's greatest guitar players of all time. According to Satriani, Sahara is about a man who is lost in a desert that he has mentally walled himself inside, alone, afraid, tired of life, and he's trying to find a way out, whatever that is. Those who have read the books know the desert references as they relate to Lestat, both literally and figuratively. Sahara is a hauntingly beautiful, seductive, and vibey guitar soundscape, like so many of Satriani's works. But what is so catchy and hypnotic about the song is the way which Satriani melds modern rock guitar with the musical styles and traditional genres from the Middle East and Egypt. There are a couple of directions I envision Lestat taking this song. It would make for a visually stunning music video for the first time Lestat meets Akasha and Inkle, and when Marius is telling Lestat his story for taking those who must be kept out of Egypt. The bridge to the guitar solo is a delicate, almost tender part of the song, which I can envision Lestat and Akasha locked together in that circuit of blood exchange just before the brutal onslaught of the guitar solo when Inkle moves to break up the two of them and crush Lestat underfoot.
Damn.
Boy, a
You're
rock
telling the
opera
story,
style
Nancy.
I was right. A rock opera style music video that's done almost as a silent film would be a really interesting idea. The song's fading conclusion comes with Marius banishing Lestat from the fortress in the Aegean, and Lestat making his way finally to New Orleans, the humidified daughter of Paris. It would be a bitchin' music video. Another use for the song would be Lestat's band performing it on stage during a concert, but Lestat playing the guitar himself and showing off his multi-instrumental talents. It would be a bitchin' show. Really good suggestion there. And it would be interesting if there was some instrumental stuff. I hadn't thought about that at all, honestly. But I mean, he would be Prince and play 4 fucking instruments, during one song, wouldn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that. I could absolutely see him pulling a Freddie Mercury and beginning a song at the piano before he fucking kicks the stool away to grab the microphone and take the stage without a shirt. All right, final suggestion from Nancy here. Come to Me from Bjork. Yeah, that's cheating. Nancy. Come to Me. Of course, the title of the song alone might be enough to capture Lestat's attention since it's a repetitive theme and quote from so many of the books. But the lyrics are not suggestive of the predatory relationship in the books and TV series. Very much the opposite, in fact. The lyrics convey a sense of comfort, unconditional love, safety, and care for someone without the needs for any words at all. Love is expressed through our actions we perform in caring for the ones we love rather than just telling them, I love you. Yeah. Love you is a choice. Loving someone is a choice you make every day. Lestat has told Louis he loves him throughout the Chronicles, but it's Lestat's actions involving Louis, particularly in Merrick and Blood Communion, which Lestat proves his unconditional affection for his partner. The TV series has a ways to go before reaching the story of Blood Communion, but book readers will get the reference as it also relates to Lestat's rescue of Louis, his mother, and Marius, the 3 vampires that Lestat loves most in the world, after Rosh kidnaps them. The song could apply to any healthy immortal relationship with both partners express their love for each other through actions rather than words. That would be very fitting. I do think we will probably get a Come to Me reprise of some sort. I think there's something else coming there. Absolutely. Thank you, Nancy. Those were all excellent suggestions. Right. Also, even better than The Real Thing and Mysterious Ways from U2, Patrick says. Yeah, U2's got a lot you could pull from, honestly.
Oh my God.
Okay, so somebody wrote a song about Louis and Lestat. Rock song about Louis and Lestat. There's one... Who did it? Somebody did it.
I love this discussion about how they should sell the plank at the AMC shop.
I missed that.
Is it?
Every time I see the video for I Need You Tonight, I can totally see Lestat. Michael Hutchins definitely had the right vibe.
Hot. That was a hot song.
Okay. The obvious one is Sting's Moon Over Bourbon Street. Although, can we change it to Royal Street? Because Moon Over Bourbon Street shines on puke and hurricane cups. Moon Over Bourbon Street. Is that the one that's about?
I think it might be.
Somebody wrote a song about them.
I dropped my phone into the toilet in a bar on Bourbon Street, and I almost just left it there.
There's a moon over Bourbon Street tonight. I see faces as they pass beneath the pale lamplight. I've no choice but to follow that call. The bright lights, the people, the moon, and all. I pray every day to be strong, for I know what I do must be wrong. Oh, you'll never see my shade or hear the sound of my feet while there's a moon over Bourbon Street. Yeah, that's the one that I was thinking of. Sting wrote that one. Good call. You're right. We got to change it to Royal Street. It would be funny if he pulled out a fake guitar made of wood.
Oh my god. Ooh, Susie and the
Lestat would be the whole band.
Spellbound.
Susie and the Bandit Spellbound. I don't know that one either.
Just a bop. Just a bop with the right vibe. I'm not really thinking about storytelling. I'm thinking more about like the kind of vibe I want.
We need a plank and a pillow bundle.
Don't cuddle that plank too hard. You're going to get splinters is all.
I sort of feel like the pillows are a little creepy too.
The Armand one?
And again, yes,
I think horrifying.
It's not good.
It's horrifying.
Okay, so Moon Over Bourbon Street was originally supposed to be in the Interview with a Vampire movie or a prospective adaptation. That's why I was thinking that. Thank you, Patrick, for reminding me of that. I knew somebody had done it, and I couldn't remember exactly why. That was when there was the discussion about Cher playing Louis.
Wow. You
were going to have a heterosexual couple as Louis and Lestat in that one, I think.
Yeah.
Possession by Sarah McLachlan. Words from a stalker's letter that wanted to unalive her. Creepy, but works for Lestat.
Yeah.
Fuck me. I didn't know that.
Oh,
I didn't know she'd done it. It's like Stan, but for real.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, that's a great song too.
That's fucked up, y'all.
Yeah.
All right, we are approaching 2 hours. It's almost 9 o'clock where we are. We've got a little bit more time though. If you've got a few more cover songs in particular, we'll do some more of that. I want to suggest here a whole album that I want you guys to go listen to if you haven't gotten into it before. And it's out there. Don't get me wrong. Like you need to take the journey with me. But the Decemberists.
Okay.
Which are an amazing band. Colin Malloy is the lead singer. They got together in the year 2000 and they have a bunch of albums, but they made an album called The Hazards of Love, which was a concept album. It's a story. It's one continuous story that's like a folk fantasy story kind of thing. It's got a changeling and an evil queen and the whole 9 yards.
Okay.
A lovely maiden who, now that I think about it, this is very Vampire Chronicles. There's a song that's like way about her menstruation. Actually, now that I think about it, The Lovely Young Maiden, there's a whole song about her bleeding for the first time. Anyway, Hazards of Love is the name of the song, or the name of the album. There's actually, I think, 3 songs on the album called The Hazards of Love. It's like Hazards of Love Part 1, 2, and 3. The third one, Hazards of Love Part 3, I've always said since the album first came out, it would, like, if somebody other than Colin Malloy sang it, it could be a hit on like country music radio right now. It's just a very cool sort of mournful love song. But the evil queen, the queen of the forest, has a really, really powerful song in the middle of this album where she comes in and is like dominating our main characters, our pair of lovers that are at the center of the story. And the singer from My Brightest Diamond is who they bring in to play the queen on the album. It's just unbelievable. It's a woman's voice, so it's not Lestat, but her delivery and the tone of that song in particular has always really struck me as something that Lestat would be into. But also that whole album really weaves together like modern rock music and like a very European folk sound, So I think that is sort of fitting for Lestat. I'll tell you this, when I began my search for new theme music for this show, and I'm hopeful that I can find this in my eventual choice, but what I really wanted was dark, dramatic rock music with a classical music influence.
Excellent. That's a good search.
That's what I hear in my head when I hear Lestat. Dark, dramatic rock music with a classical music influence. I don't think he ever gets rid of the harpsichord. You know what I mean? Like, and I know in this
that feels so 80s
TV
synthesizer
version, I think harpsichord is older than him. I don't
We
think
have
he
to
would
be
necessarily be
careful.
beholden to the harpsichord, but yeah. The lyrics the Decemberists have, woo,
Yeah.
There's there's another concept album they did called The Crane Wife, which is really amazing. And then the album that they came out with after Hazards of Love is called The King is Dead. And it is not a concept album, but it's also just freaking amazing. The opening, to see, now I got to go look up the song for you guys, but the opening of that album, The King is Dead, is called Don't Carry It All. And this is like the third time that I've started to play a song because I wanted to give you the lyrics. Here we come to a turning of the season, witness to the arc towards the sun. A neighbor's blessed burden within reason becomes a burden born of all and one. And nobody knows. Let the yoke fall from our shoulders. Don't carry it all. Don't carry it all. It's really, really lovely. Colin is a brilliant writer. The Decemberists are awesome. Go check that shit out if you haven't. Mandy signs on too.
Yeah.
So like, yes,
Mandy approved.
let's go enjoy some Decemberists all together.
Want to throw out Psycho Killer, Talking Heads?
Psycho Killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? It's even got French in it.
Yeah.
Actually, it's even got French in it.
And also Hazy Shade of Winter.
Okay. Since you Hazy Shade of Winter is real good. All right, now I want to go bring you an Edith Piaf song.
Ooh.
Non, je ne regrette rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. It's like this French anthem.
Anytime
it's
someone
wonderful.
aggressively sings something operatic at me, I just assume they're about to like stab me or something. Like I'm about to be fucking murdered.
So you probably know Non, je ne regrette rien from what's the Leo DiCaprio movie about dreams? Inception.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's the song they use to kick the dream and end the dream or whatever. That's what they play.
I fucking love that movie.
It means no, I have no regrets. That's what the French translates to, and the whole thing is basically like an operatic French I did it my way from this like badass woman from 30s and 40s Paris. Edith Piaf's the shit. The song that everybody knows from her is La Vie en Rose.
Yes.
She did the original version of La Vie en Rose, but Non, je ne regrette de rien is one I think Lestat is probably a big fan of.
You're gonna regret durian. That's what it sounds like. You might, because it smells terrible.
A little on the nose, Mandy says, but Queen's Somebody to Love.
It's a great tune. That's
a really, really good one. And a good example of a song that we've already had be like restructured in a way to make it's very operatic and very like, again, they've said they're going to do like Hedwig and the Angry Inch and they're going to do some.
Look, their inspirations are all the fuck over the place. So we'll just see what it turns out.
Yeah, they're all over the place. Yeah. Patrick says that was some aggressive singing, Joel.
It just feels like it's something Hannibal Lecter would do right before he eats your liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
He would definitely put on Edith Piaf very loudly. That's true. I think Queen would have a lot of songs that would be great. Yeah, strongly agree. No One Wants to Live Forever.
Yeah, Who Wants to Live Forever?
Or Who Wants to Live Forever? Yeah, excuse me. Who Wants to Live Forever?
Man,
that whole fucking Highlander soundtrack.
That Highlander soundtrack's a banger.
It's like, and the movie is good, but the movie would be fine except for the fact that the soundtrack makes it feel like this really important thing.
It elevates it.
And it elevates it in a way that's really unbelievable. I'm trying to think. I feel like there was one that I had in mind that I have completely forgotten here. Thanks to everybody for your great suggestions. God knows we've got a long enough list to listen to for a while here. Here's a spoiler for wrestling because my son just sent it to me. Cody returned at tonight's Saturday night's main event, everybody.
Woohoo!
First time since WrestleMania.
Right on.
Remy was very excited about that to share with that.
Hell yeah.
Y'all, I am excited to share this with you all. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. We'll put this up as quickly as I can for for patrons, and then it'll be up Monday night for everybody on YouTube. Renee adds one more here. A good upgrade from the 2000s nu metal would be the band Him, Killing Loneliness, for example. Lead singer is very Lestat coded too.
Ooh, excellent.
Okay, yeah, His Imperial Majesty, right? That's what Him stands for.
I'm not familiar.
I could see that. I can't remember which song I know from him. Somebody suggested a Him song to me though one time. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think it stands for His Imperial Majesty.
I hope it does.
Oh, they do a version of Wicked Game?
Ooh, Wicked Game. That was the one I was thinking of earlier and forgot. That's awesome.
Yeah, they do a version of Wicked Game.
That's awesome.
It's on an album called Greatest Love Songs? What? I maybe need to go Greatest Love Songs Volume 666 is the name of this album.
That is amazing.
I think we just found it here, y'all. Him just did it already. They did the Lestat cover album. There you go.
All right.
Yeah, it's got Wicked Game. It's All Tears, When Love and Death Embrace, The Beginning of the End, Don't Fear the Reaper.
Don't Fear the Reaper. Fuck yes. I love that too.
Don't Fear the Reaper would be a good one.
Banger.
The Beginning of the End. Yeah, that's a great idea, actually. Him would be
like
very, very good, in fact.
Shut up, Patrick. Let's get more bangles in this shit.
Patrick says, hope to see you all in New Orleans. Genuinely, y'all. I'm so excited to see some of y'all in person and hug some necks and bump some fists and whatever else we feel like doing.
I haven't seen you in so fucking long in real life.
I genuinely, so the last time you and I were in person would have had to have been a
reunion.
A boil, probably?
Or maybe a reunion.
I guess. Yeah.
Maybe that one that was in May.
We've done a couple of those.
I stopped in before I went to New Orleans. Might have been that one.
It's been a hot minute, though, is the point. Yeah. Ashley and I do not get together very often. No. Lake Charles. You're not from Lake Charles. Little Rock and North Louisiana seem on the map to be very close together. They are not, in fact. It's a real pain in the ass to go all the way to Little Rock. And if you're in Little Rock, why would you ever come to North Louisiana?
I mean, maybe for crawfish. And Joel.
To drive through to go to New Orleans because it's convenient.
Literally, that's when I drop into Reston, that's literally when I do it, is when I'm heading to New Orleans. I'm like,
hey, everybody, I'm stopping for a bathroom break and some snacks at the gas station.
It literally happens that for 3 years in a row, or 3 reunions in a row that we did at Tech, the reunion was scheduled on a weekend that I had already planned to go to New Orleans. So I was like, okay, bye. I'm going to come for a night or for a couple hours, and then I'm getting back on the road. Love you all. Later.
It's fun. Kelly says, I'm heading to a concert tomorrow, first since COVID. Breaking Benjamin with Stained. Oh, that would not be a bad. I'm not a huge Stained fan, but I'd like Breaking Benjamin pretty well.
That's going to be a fun night, Kelly.
I can't tell you when the last time I've been to a concert in person is. I'm trying to think. I don't know. It's been a long, long time.
It's been a minute. I've done more shows, not necessarily big concerts. COVID kind of put me in a home way.
So COVID did it in 2 ways for me. First and foremost,
knows gas station crawfish. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I was going to add that in just a minute, Patrick. So I literally, at the very beginning of the show, we started this conversation with this. I was telling you about my client from Louisiana asking my client from California asking where am I from because he didn't recognize my accent. Right. But the whole point of that was I was going to say this. I was born and raised in Louisiana. I grew up there. I have lived there my entire life except for a couple of summers in Southern Ohio. I love the state of Louisiana. It's fucked up in 19 million ways. Yep. But there is no other place on earth where I think I would be happier. And it also, I think it's important that I stay. And this is what I was telling the client.
That's how I feel too.
I think it matters that I put my feet down here and live my life, even though it might be a little harder here than it might be elsewhere.
Fucking run me off from my home. This is my home too. This is where I fucking live. And this is where my friends live. And this is where my family lives. And you're not going to fuck with me and my friends and family in our fucking home.
Patrick says, gas station crawfish. I only thought it sounded nasty, but assumed it was a real thing.
It is real.
No, it's a absolutely real thing.
So, God, it's a good thing.
I saw a reel today where someone said they were basically having the same discussion. They were like, oh, if Louisiana's going down so far, like I guess maybe I'll move. And then the person on, and it was like a young black man that was speaking, but he was like, oh, I ain't about to go nowhere that ain't got no crawfish at the gas station, y'all. If I can't go to the corner store, this is what he said. If I can go to the corner store and get some shrimp, a white tank top T-shirt, and a daiquiri, I don't want it, y'all.
Yeah. I mean, it's a special place.
I mean, we just got done with the Merrick novel, and at the end of the Merrick novel, Lestat gets threatened, and they're like, hey, you got to leave New Orleans. And he's like, fuck you. I ain't going. I've been here for 200 years.
Fuck
like,
yourself.
you ain't taking it from me. Yeah. I'm from here. I ain't going nowhere. And that genuinely, that's how I feel. I love my state, and I'm going to be here. I'm going to try to do my best to make it a better place for my kids if they want to be here someday too. I will never begrudge anybody moving away, right? You need to find your own bliss wherever that might be.
We're fucking holding it down here in Arkansas too.
Wherever, I mean, we were joking earlier about the best serial killers from, the Pacific Northwest or whatever, here and there and everywhere. But genuinely, y'all, like, where your home is.
In the same, like, span of, like, 5 years, Joel. So, like, you should be proud.
I wouldn't even go into the serial killers route. I was just saying.
Of course you weren't, but I will.
If you feel at home where you are, put your feet down and stand tall there and be happy there and build make it a better place. That's the only way we fix any of this shit, y'all. Anywhere you are, things that are wrong in your place, make it better.
And fucking enjoy what your community has to offer you too. Like fucking live in defiance of the rest of the bullshit,
It is its own sort of rebellion. Absolutely. When Ashley and I went to college, you couldn't buy liquor in a restaurant or a store inside the city limits. It was a dry county. In fact, you had to go outside the parish to get liquor at a liquor store. And we've changed that. It took like 20 years, but we did in fact actually change that.
By God, you can have a cocktail with your dinner.
And wine. I could buy like booze at Walmart, which was a big deal 20 years ago. So anyway, but that only happened because people stayed. People that wanted things to be different stayed in the community instead of just taking their ball and going home. So you do that too. All right, one more thing I feel like before. Oh, have we made a choice on which book we're doing next?
Well, that's a good question.
Okay, thank you for reminding me. Let me go check and just make sure that the polls haven't drastically changed since the last time I was there. But I feel like I know the answer to this question already, and was planning. In fact, I had already loaded it into my Audible. Where is the poll? Here we go. All right, 17 votes total.
Okay.
In our Patreon, articulatecoven.com/join, by the way, $2 or more a month gets you access to everything we do early and ad-free. $5 or $10 a month gets you access to the polls and voting and suggestions for movie nights and
17
books.
people are deciding our fate. So, I mean, you could get in there and make a real fucking difference. If you
could make a difference. So we had 6% of the vote go for The Witching Hour, 0% of the vote for Lasher. I was so surprised.
We're over it. Everybody's fucking over it.
Ashley and I are so ready to read about horny Mona Mayfair, y'all, and y'all just won't let us.
They won't let us.
Although there's some horny Mona Mayfair in the book that we're actually going to do, it turns out. 35% of the vote for Feast of All Saints, which we will get to eventually, I promise. And the winner for our poll was Blackwood Farm.
Hell
it's
yes.
The next Vampire Chronicle. 59% of the vote for that one.
I'm
so
excited.
That one's the one we're going to do.
I'm excited.
Here's a note from the very beginning of the chat, or maybe this was even posted on the Facebook, but somebody pointed out to us in answer to our discussion about the wrap-up of Merrick, there are some plot threads that are followed up in Blackwood Farm. The Talamasca is involved.
Yes.
And there is some discussion of their detente at the moment in the novels with Lestat specifically.
So this is perfect. We're moving right along into the next thing.
Yeah, it's perfect. We're gonna dive right into it. And Mona Mayfair does play a major role in Blackwood Farm, so I'm excited to get there with you all as well. It's another crossover novel. It is a more direct crossover even than Merrick is in some ways. Because we got some white Mayfairs in this one.
I haven't reread in a long time too. This is another one of those.
All right, I'll give you the heads up, by the way, because here's where we stand on our movie nights. Currently, the winner running away from the rest of the pack completely is The Hunger from 1983. So The Hunger is Susan Sarandon, Catherine Deneuve, and David Bowie. It's a 1980s, early 1980s vampire movie.
Yeah, okay.
Very excited about that. And it's like young, hot Susan Sarandon too. Like, I mean, she's
gorgeous.
5-6 years before Bull Durham at this point.
Fuck
So like
yeah.
she's smoking. Anyway, that is the winner right now, and it's running away from the rest of the pack. But right after that, and we've got 3 that are pretty close. The Invitation from 2022,
Ooh,
which is
yeah.
a vampire flick from the same producers that did Ready or Not. I've been really looking forward to seeing The Invitation, actually. Shadow of the Vampire from 2000, the sort of a fake film about the making of Nosferatu.
Yeah, we talked
It's
about
got
that one last
Willem
week.
Dafoe in it. Yeah. Willem Dafoe plays Max Schreck.
Yeah.
Basically, but he's actually a vampire in this movie.
It's so great.
And then Teen Witch is the next one at 12% as well.
Teen Witch is so great.
So I put Teen Witch in kind of as a joke because I wanted at least one movie in this next set to be a lighter film. The one that I was thinking would come up would be Once Bitten. I've been suggesting it for quite a while now with Jim Carrey. I loved it as a kid. I watched it as an adult and I really enjoy it. But Teen Witch is another one that's kind of the same way.
There's a really cringy, awful dance-off in it that I'm not looking forward to.
But there's a rap number, y'all. There's a full-on white people rap number. It's wonderful.
But it's such a great movie.
So we're not locking down those movies, but that's what's leading right now in the polls. And then the other thing that I need to factor in there is I've asked people, because the poll on Patreon will only allow you to vote for one of the selections. But then I said, hey, in the comments, give me your top 3 so I can get like an idea on where people are sitting. So Kelly says top 3, Once Bitten. Haven't seen it since childhood.
Love Once Bitten.
The Hunger, number 2, and then The Invitation. And then Stephanie says The Hunger, The Howling, and Once Bitten, because I also think something lighter and fun would be good.
Yes.
Mandy says, I'd love something a bit lighter, hence my vote for Once Bitten. These choices are all great, and honestly, I'd listen to you talk about paint.
Oh, that's very nice. We have strong opinions about most things, so.
We have strong opinions about almost everything. It's a fucking truth. Okay, let's see. Top 3 from Steven. He says, Poltergeist number 1, The Invitation number 2, The Howling number 3. Poltergeist scared the shit out of me as a child in the 80s. The old man at the door. Oof.
Well, that's Poltergeist 2.
I'd totally rewatch it.
Oh, Poltergeist 2 is, that's he's fucking terrifying. It's so good. The first movie, though, is one of the most perfect films. It's so great.
All right, so we'll lock that down next week, though, because we'll be starting next week our discussion of Blackwood Farm. So get ready for that. We'll start with book nights. I know, right? I'll put in the Facebook group, and I'll try to put it in the show notes as well, the way we'll break down the chapters on that, so you'll know how many you need to read before next week. But we'll do the same thing. We'll probably do, I haven't looked at the length of that book in a hot minute, actually, so we'll probably do 4 episodes on it, though, like we did for Merrick.
Yeah.
Maybe 5, depending upon the length. I don't think it's that long, because it also runs into Blood Canticle, the next book, which sort of finishes the story. So, which I guess you guys are going to make us read Blood Canticle after that, too. It's not one of my favorite ones, if I'm being honest, but
look, listen,
I didn't remember Merrick as a favorite, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, so it's again, it's one of those things. It's like
different times. We're reading things at different times. We're different people than we were then, Joel.
Yes, and also we've got like all of this new context for what these stories mean to us and what they might mean when they are adapted for screen, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Y'all, this is so much fucking fun.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you for helping us build this clubhouse. I was talking to one of my clients here in Denver. We're filming like pediatric dental recordings, interviews or whatever. And so it's like very dry. You would think it's kind of boring, but they're all in love with their subject, right? And all of these people they're pediatric dentists. I mean, yes, pediatric dentists tend to make good money as a rule. They're all fairly well paid. But also, though, they do it because they want to help people. Like, generally, all of these people are really passionate about what they do. And I was talking to the host, and I was saying, like, there are benefits from making content. You can grow your membership. You can grow your stature in your industry or community or et cetera, but the main benefit, I feel like, is you get to build a clubhouse with people who like you and like the things that you like, and that you can share your your enjoyment and your hobbies with.
Yeah.
So thank you all for helping us build this great fucking clubhouse. It's really, really fun.
We're so lucky we get to play.
Times are tough out there, so it's nice to have a safe space.
Yeah. A safe space to talk about monsters.
Right? I'm rereading with you guys. Patrick says, more or less, and I'm trying to remember if that Talamasca subplot was ever followed up on. I can't remember. Let's see. I Want a Voice. You can if you want. Blackwood is a good book. Blackwood Farm is awesome. Renee says, I love The Hunger. I even have the book.
Excellent.
Teen Witch is wonderful.
It is, Renee. It is so ridiculously great.
How has Byzantium not come up? Like the place?
And that's also
I don't
me
know what that's
realizing I don't
context
think
for.
I've ever really known how to say that word out loud.
Right. We read too much and we don't talk with people with a very big vocabulary, Ashley. It's a real handicap we have.
It is.
I'll probably get through it in 2 weeks, just like I did Merrick. Jenny says, thank you both. This has been fun. Love talking to everyone. Thanks, Joel and Ashley, for changing the time. And we'll do it again. We'll do a different. Oh, the vampire movie, Byzantium. I don't know a vampire movie, Byzantium. I got to look this up, Patrick. Thank you. All right. We'll put that on the list for a later date then, perhaps. That's also on AMC right now, Mandy says. Mandy doing all the homework for everybody. There you go. Go check out Byzantium. Add it to your watch list. All right. We're going to wrap this up, folks, because it is a late night here for us now. But thank you all for hanging out. We'll do it again, I promise.
We will.
And next week, we'll be back with a regular episode to talk to you about Blackwood Farm.
100 episodes, Joel. Look at us go.
Vampire Chronicle novel. Genuinely, what a cool milestone. Thanks, folks, for helping us reach it. And thank you all for all being along for the ride. Until we talk to you again, we have been your hosts. I'm Joel.
Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. That's y'all too, folks.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Articulate Coven. You can join our community on Facebook by following the links in the show notes or searching for Articulate Coven on Facebook. You can subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or at articulatecoven.com and share us with your Anne Rice loving friends.